Submit to the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Mecha Random 42.
Hello.
We're also joined by Tom for Midnight's Edge.
Good evening. Or afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you is.
And our very special guest for the evening, Mr. Cameron Pasha.
I'm on. I guess, yet again, I'm the only guy who's showing his face. But all right, I'm going to do it. I'm Vader without the mask. It's fine.
Oh, well, we might be seeing more Vader without the mask soon. But, folks, we
don't know the power of the dark side of YouTube.
You don't know the power of the bullshit that gets spewed from We Got This Covered. I don't know.
They have a 45% success rate because they're just guessing, I think.
Dude, I was on there, Mecha, and it was rumor, article, rumor, article, rumor, article. I'm like, Jesus, like, there's no more rumors. Stop making shit up. Guys, it doesn't happen. We got this covered. Can somebody just buy their domain and just tell them it's time? Like,
maybe that's what they're hoping for.
Anyway, folks, we got a ton to cover. Not as much speculation as you'd think, because the pop culture landscape has actually changed a great deal since we've last met. So we're going to be talking about all sorts of things like the new streaming shows from Disney and Marvel and Star Wars, so that'll be fun. Not really. We're also going to be talking about some of the other HBO changes, some Wonder Woman news, some stuff about the J.J. Abrams treatment, as well as some Empire Strikes Back news. But first, we're going to start tonight's show taking a little trip down memory lane. So, folks, if you're out there, sit down, get a drink, get your popcorn, get ready, because for tonight's opening, we're going to celebrate, in quotations, celebrate the anniversary of Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So 3 years ago tonight, millions and millions of hearts were broken, and Star Wars has never been the same since. So, Mecha, Tom, you and I the three of us, we've all made content and talked about The Last Jedi. And I know, Cameron, you've talked about it briefly, but Cameron, as you're our guest, and we're talking about this for the anniversary, what were your first thoughts when you saw The Last Jedi?
I was stunned as I was in the theater. I knew something was wrong within the first few minutes. I knew the moment they did the Yo Mama joke that something was wrong. I mean, Star Wars has fun humor. That wasn't Star Wars humor. Something felt wrong, right? And then when Luke threw the saber over his shoulder, I was like, my heart just sank. I said, this movie's off the rails. And it's like 10 minutes into it, right? And it got progressively worse. And by 2 hours into it, I was literally begging, please, God, let this end. I mean, I was saying internally to myself. I was there with a friend who was loving it. I mean, he was just loving it. And he's like excited. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, am I crazy? I was like, please let this end. It's horrifying. It's not ending. And then another half hour of garbage happens. And the movie ends. I'm walking out with my friend. He's like, wow, that was incredible. That subverted my expectations. And he's one of these sort of leftist Hollywood types. And so he was all about where it was going. And I was like, yeah, And I went home. And that night, I swear, I had difficulty going to sleep, and I had nightmares because I felt like my childhood had been broken. I was so horrified. And I had actually bought two tickets on a Friday night and Saturday because I thought I was going to love it. And so I thought, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I didn't get the movie. So I went the second time, Saturday night, to see it. I just went by myself, and I was just numb the whole movie. I was like, nah, I was right. This is crazy. They've broken the whole franchise. And that was where I was, and I kept that hidden for a while, and then I started venting on the web, and that's how I discovered all of you who were venting on the web as well, and here we are.
Mecha, I know you've talked about it ad nauseum, so have I, so has Tom, but because it's tonight's show, please, same question to you. What were your thoughts when you walked out, or at least saw it for the first time?
When I walked out, I even as I was watching it, I felt it was a very long slog to get through the whole Canto Bite scene. I thought that was just this unnecessary side quest that they really should have omitted. It didn't do anything other than completely misprioritize, I think, a lot of the characters, the development of the story, and I wanted to like it. This is one of those things. You want to like it. You really, really want to like it. I wanted to find something to like. I bought porgs to bring with me because I thought they were cute in the trailer, and brought him with me into the theater, and you know, you want to like this, and to this day I'm like, okay, well, at least I got the porgs, they're cute, it's a pretty movie. But yeah, so the movie's just bad. You have modern day presentisms like the Yo Mama joke, like the Laura Dern crap, where she's basically is it mansplaining or womansplaining, whatever the crap she does. You have Admiral Gender Studies is what you guys always called her. I don't know who came up with that, but that was great. And yeah, it's the movie just, you kind of sit there and process it, and you're like, I don't want to go and see this again. I really don't want to, because Force Awakens, I'm like, okay, I want to go see this again. This was fun enough, and I liked that one enough for what it was. Not The Last Jedi, and I haven't even been able to watch it since because it was just so ugh. It was just ugh.
With an extra side of ugh.
Yeah, the pacing, the timing, the weird. It's like. It is like Rian Johnson made this movie just to troll people to make a name for himself in Hollywood.
And it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
He became an immediate. I mean, he was already an up-and-coming, respected director. And I got to be honest, I liked Looper, so that's why I was excited for the movie. And he was an up-and-coming. And when he did this, so many people said, man, he punched that white man, Luke Skywalker, down. And so many people in the industry jumped on that, at least publicly. Privately, a lot of people said, man, that movie kind of sucked, but they wouldn't say that publicly. But publicly, he became the man of the hour in the industry.
Why now? Or excuse me, let's just say we're in 2017. Let's say it's a brand new movie. Why now? Why is that mentality so? Why were people so excited about that? Like, why was that? How did we get there, Cameron?
And I've said this on other podcasts, but I'll say it here. We had gotten there. It was an extreme reaction, frankly, to Trump's election in 2016. You know, Hollywood has always been liberal and progressive since I've been there. I've been almost 20 years. But the extreme emotional reaction to Trump's election created this aggressive, extreme leftist narrative in the industry by people that don't believe it. These are all rich people sitting in very nice gated communities with bodyguards that are talking about communism, right? How great communism is. And that's just all pretense. But now they had to actually put that pretense out there because they felt that they had a social obligation to change the cultural narrative to fight off this evil force of Trump as they perceived. And so the white man became the devil, literally. And Luke Skywalker became the iconic white man of our heritage that had to be brought down. So that's what it came down to. It was an extreme pathological reaction to political events that were happening at the time. And and it was, everyone was part of a groupthink effort. Even though people privately didn't share these beliefs, everyone had to say the same stuff in order to fit in. And it hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, it was such a jarring thing because you talk about that quick and sudden change. It was a quick and sudden change for the reaction that the movie got from the fans and how they treated us. But before we get into that, Tom, same question to you. How gobsmacked were you 3 years ago?
Well, a movie filled with drama, excitement, amazing visuals, taking me back to my childhood, making me feel like Star Wars was alive in my heart again. None of that is what I found on that night. Basically, though, like afterwards, I was confused. I wasn't sure what I was feeling. I guess it's probably, I mean, I hate to compare it to any kind of assault of any kind, but I'm sure it's something where you feel like some friend has done something to you. It just doesn't feel right, but you just don't know why it doesn't feel right. And it took me a while to come around to it. It really did. Like, I mean, I think in our first review, even, I still gave it probably like a 6 out of 10. And I mean, because at that point I was still like, it's visually stunning. It has, some good points. But again, like all the things that you guys were talking about started to fester and grow more and more inside. And at one point I finally made a video where I basically compared it to a breakup. Like this was it. Like, yeah, we had this thing. We broke up for a while. We got back together. It wasn't what we thought it was going to be. So we broke apart again, but then, we thought we were getting back together once again. And this time it was supposed to be better than it ever was. And it turns out it was just a bunch of lies. It was just like, so at this point, when you got to stop, you just got to say enough's enough. I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm not going to be pushed around. I'm not going to let my emotions be destroyed by this other thing or entity, whatever you want to call it. Even though I kind of felt like it was a person at that point, it almost was. Because we all lived with Star Wars since the moment most of us were born.
It's family. I mean,
it was just always there. Yeah.
Every holiday, how many of us, like, I always watched the originals for years and years and years when they'd air them on TBS or TNT or whatever it was. They'd marathon them on the holidays. I mean, there's the family you see all the time that you want to hang out with when your real family is kind of annoying or watching sports ball and you don't want to.
Well, not just that, it even brings families together because you can sit there and argue all day long about what movie you want to watch, but usually everybody could agree on Star Wars.
I put it on now when I'm trying to find something for Jesse and I do for background noise. Like, I'll put Star Wars on. 9 times out of 10, we just stare at it the whole time, but still.
Yeah, the kids would argue, I want to watch Gremlins, I want to watch Pete's Dragon. Well, finally everybody went, well, how about Star Wars then? Fine, everybody likes Star Wars. That's kind of where it would go at the video store.
Yeah. I wasn't like most people that I was enamored by The Force Awakens. No, I hated it when I first saw it. So I had spent the 2 years between the two films I was in a weird place. I liked Rogue One, and I thought Looper was a fine movie. So Rian Johnson...
Well, I didn't hate Force Awakens. I actually thought it was a decent enough foundation to build on.
Well, that's what I think. Like, everyone here was okay with that. I was of us on the panel tonight. I'm the outlier that was coming in with, well, fuck it already. It sucks. Let's see what's going to happen. And I have like some Schadenfreude. Have you ever? Well, of course you've seen it. You remember that scene in American Psycho after he drops the chainsaw down the stairwell and he laughs?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get when people go, "Oh man, Disney Star Wars is terrible. It's the worst thing. It's all this stuff." I'm like, yeah, welcome to 2015 with The Force Awakens. And that's why I always have that big laugh.
I didn't love The Force Awakens. I was excited for it because I was excited for any new Star Wars, right? And I watched it. I didn't walk out numb and shocked like I did in The Last Jedi, but I walked out feeling, okay, well, I feel like I've seen that before. I liked the characters. I felt like the story was a recycled story, and there were some errors in the mythology that I immediately caught, like how they were using light speed and stuff like that. That I was like, man, I hope they're not messing around with that.
JJ-isms.
Yeah, I was like, if they're messing around with light speed, I hope that doesn't become a problem. That becomes a real problem in the next movie, right? And so I felt something was off, but I was like, all right, well, let's see where this goes. And I was excited for Rian Johnson. Then I was like, I felt like betrayed. But Tom, you said something earlier that I want to get back to, which is you said it felt like a breakup.
Yeah.
It felt like actually someone broke up two perfectly happy people. It felt like an Othello story where it was Othello,
right.
Mona, and Iago comes between them. And that's what I feel Disney did, or Disney Lucasfilm did, because we love Star Wars and Star Wars loved us. And suddenly something came in between and created this rift that wasn't there, that wasn't natural. And that's what I felt we had.
That is very true. Yeah, and it was kind of a bait and switch. That's kind of what it was. Like, that's where, okay, The Force Awakens, yeah, it is a lot like Star Wars. It is a lot, or New Hope, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? That's fine to build something on that, and that's what got me back in the door. It was reminding me why I loved Star Wars in the first place. Sure, it was a pretty much a beat for beat retelling, but there's nothing wrong with that as long as the next chapter you take us someplace new, which Rian Johnson did do. I can't fault him for that part, but like, again, we could be here all night, and we've got 3 years worth of videos where we talk about what's wrong with this damn movie. So, I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and go through all that. Yeah, but yeah.
But I always like to go back and remember, the holiday remembrance. Sometimes we have to remember some bad shit that happened, and it's not a real serious thing, but it is life-changing for some people because that's what broke it for them. It's funny, I never thought of Star Wars like the family member comparison that Mecca made, and now I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Because that's kind of why we do make the content and the stuff and the videos, because we care about this shit. And my biggest takeaway from The Last Jedi was not necessarily that it was just the worst Star Wars movie. It was what it did. That the next step is what I wanted to talk about, how it emboldened these people to start to really punch down on online critics, YouTubers go after people. Writers would try to harass people like us, and they would try to dox creators and all this shit. It really created an ugly situation. I think that's the real legacy of The Last Jedi, sadly, is what not just being the worst Star Wars film and damaging the franchise, but what other studios saw was allowable and how franchises now treat long tenured genre fans. That's the biggest problem The Last Jedi created.
I think you're right, Jeff. And let me give you an example of this. I think my animosity towards the film really started to begin when the media, other members of the community and stuff like that. It's like when I even sat there and was like, I never even said I necessarily hated the movie, but I'm just talking about the things I don't like. And y'all are calling me istophobes for it.
Yeah,
like,
or Trump supporter, or
what have you.
You're
yeah,
a racist if you don't like Rose Tico. Oh,
because like if Ryan would have kept his mouth shut, if the media wouldn't have come out, if nobody else would have said anything about it, it would have just been one of those movies that was like a lump and it sat there, and then just over time it was that movie. And Jason Goes to Hell is a great example. I always brought up, it's not a great movie, but they tried something different. But the difference here is you don't have Adam Marcus going out there saying, well, you fuckers are wrong and you're a bunch of istophobes. And he's like, you're right. You're right to ask these questions. It's right to ask why a 23-year-old, first-time director was given a franchise like this to basically do what he did, and he doesn't like make any excuses for it. It's like, I tried this, it didn't work. End of story, really. It's not like he's out there going, well, it's your fault you didn't like it.
And again, all of this comes down, in my view, to the politics of the thing, is that the industry decided early on to conflate the clear subversion of The Last Jedi as a subversion of the Trump era. And so that's why all the narrative quickly became, if you criticize it, you had to be a Trumper. Anyone who follows me knows that I have criticism of Trump. And so we're not going to get into politics here, but I have much bigger criticisms of what Disney has done to Star Wars, right? And yet we were all put in this box, and all of the narrative became this political narrative. Minority, as Mecca pointed out, if you don't like Rose Tico, that you must be a racist. All part of the Trump is promoting racism. I'm like, look, I'm a minority. I'm a brown Pakistani Muslim guy, right? And I like the actress Kelly Marie Tran, who plays this terrible character who did the best she could with a terrible script. She didn't deserve what happened to her. She didn't deserve what happened to her there. She didn't deserve what happened to her in the movie after that with JJ, right? She deserved better. And as a minority, I was offended by how bad the character was and how it was coming from the what I've experienced, the sort of white liberal racism of Hollywood, and how it views people of color and minorities as these props and
stereotypes.
Stereotypes, and denigrates them and cheapens them. And that's what was done to this character. And and we can talk about a couple of these, but the one thing that showed me that he was done beyond my own personal subjective opinion of that is I read Colin Trevorrow's never filmed script for episode 9, Duel of the Fates, in which Rose Tico was the best part of a very good movie. I mean, the character was so well written in that script, and it was exciting, and she was this really compelling character. You're like, this is a great script, but let's get back to Rose. I want to see what Rose is doing. And to take this terrible character and do that to it proved to me that it was the bad writing, and it had nothing to do with anything else. The character could be good. Rose Tico could have been good, and it was the hidden racism of Hollywood that made it a bad character and that told us we couldn't critique it.
Yeah, and that is why I think so many people found us, because I had never seen a situation where it got so deep. It went to the core, and that's why I think people have pushed back so much, and why I'm really happy that people have pushed back to the level they have, because we have, between everybody in the fandom and 1 million subscribers, probably you got the guy like the quarter who hit 1 million personally. There's people that are pushing back from this across the board. It's more than just Star Wars. Star Wars is, The Last Jedi is the poster child for all this, but this is something that goes across industries, into gaming, into other parts of culture in general. And this is that time where people were kind of fed up with this shit. And so hopefully, as we move forward, this will always be remembered as, not to quote Star Wars, but kind of that thing. It's like, hey, this is what rallied the people against bullshit. It's a terrible movie, but it also represents so many other things. Mm-hmm. And, it sucks that it exists, but it created all of this. So at the end of the day, The Last Jedi, I think, is a necessary evil. What would you guys say?
It was absolutely a catalyst. It created all of us. Look, it created the fandom menace. It created an entire global community. It launched a lot of people's YouTube careers. Made new friends. None of this was intended by the people behind this, but that was the outcome, and it was a good outcome.
Yeah, I mean, if this was an isolated incident, it'd be one thing. Like, even if it was just like Ghostbusters and like never happened anything else, I don't think it would have gotten to this level. I really think Star Wars was the big catalyst because, I mean, it was happening to almost every other franchise around us.
Yeah, we had it with Star Trek before too, because I remember watching like you guys, Doomcock, SC reviews with the Star Trek stuff, because that was like 6 months before The Last Jedi. So you already had all the Trek people who were like, "This is crap. What did you do to Star Trek?" And they were like, "Okay, fine. Let's see what's going on with Star Wars." And like, "Oh, for crying out loud, what did you do to Star Wars now?"
Right.
And then Doctor Who, and then Game of Thrones, and then
Terminator, and
and so on. And Mecca's right. And that's really, I think, was that Star Wars was big enough that it affected the normies.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to your thing you were talking about, Jeff, with Schadenfreude, where it's like, yeah, when you hear a normie, somebody who's not even somebody you would normally consider a geek or a Star Wars fan, comes out and says, yeah, this new Star Wars is trash. Or yeah, I didn't even, you know how weird it was to sit there and hear Clint Howard go, because we were sitting there talking about Star Wars and we're like, we don't blame your brother for the last movie. We blame Kathleen Kennedy and everybody else who made it. It's like, it was, and not just that, it wasn't that movie. It was the movie before it that pissed everybody off. And he's like, oh, you mean the one with the Skywalker and all that crap? I'm like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. I didn't watch it anyway. So, you got guys like him who are just not even interested anymore. And this is like, he's in that circle for fuck's sake. Like, so that just shows you how important this crap is. It's become so disposable that even in the circles of people that it should be important to, they don't care. It's just that disposable. And here you go. Speaking of disposableness, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. I just thought this would be fun to give a visual for people. This is the other end of the legacy of The Last Jedi. It really, really, really hurt an industry. Toys R Us was going to go because of Mitt Romney. You can worry about politics. You can just look it up. That's Bain Capital, all this other shit. Well, not Bain Capital, excuse me. But Mitt Romney,
it's a pump and dump. They basically come in. They run up.
Toys R Us was sacrificed for that bullshit. But Star Wars toys were the last offense to Toys R Us, because for the great legacy of the brand and the franchise and Toys R Us itself and thousands of kids that got joy from Star Wars, the last Star Wars remnants that were there as the thing died was this shit. So you'd go across the country, I would personally, and I'd see this everywhere. And this is what The Last Jedi was to me. This was the aftermath. Yeah, because bad movies come and go, but this physical embodiment of this bad movie has to go somewhere. And people sat on it. This is a Kroger. This is a grocery store. This is not even a toy store. This is a fucking grocery store I was in Kentucky, and they had, that truck knows what's up. But you'll see, I had tons and tons of this Rose Tico shit. It all stems from a bad movie and a bad character. Cameron, you brought up how Kelly Marie Tran wasn't really responsible for any of this shit. And that's the right way. That's how I would approach it too. She didn't write the script. She didn't make the movie suck. A few people did. And it sucks that she will be remembered as, Rose Tico, the potato sack lady, and all this other shit. So
she didn't deserve what happened to her. She's a talented actress. And even with the garbage she was given, she brought it. I mean, she brought, even the character made no sense, but when she cried for her sister, it's real because she's a good actress, right? And, all of this garbage that was given to her, she played it the best she could. I really admired her willingness to do this because she's not a dumb person. She knows the character isn't dumb. She knows it I don't know her personally, but I work with actors. She knows when the character isn't working, but she played it to the hilt when she could.
And then you brought up about how she was done in the next film, and well, they just wrote her out of that one.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but you kind of had to. What does she add? And it's not anything to do with Kelly Marie Tran. They don't even know what story they're telling. An extra character doesn't even fit.
But yeah, in JJ's vision, like I said, in Colin Trevorrow's vision, she was a lead character, and she was central to the defeat of the bad guys. Whatever First Order, whatever that we don't know what they are. But she was central to their defeat in his draft, and you were compelled by that storyline. It didn't have to be a bad character. The sequel could have worked for her had they gone with Trevorrow's script.
Could have. It's so funny how close they were to not whipping the entire thing. Well, no, I take that back. Trevorrow's script, no matter what, if you don't have an overarching story, and I'm not one to give excuse to George Lucas, but he at least knew an idea of where it was going. These people did not have an idea, because why would you introduce third film MacGuffins, a fucking knife that you use to find, like, they turned the Force into an Indiana Jones chase. The Force is a mystical energy thing. It doesn't have all these objects and these magical things. There's kyber crystals for the lightsabers and other stuff like that, but they turned it into a kiddie thing. They took the mystical aspect of the Force and turned it into Uncharted. I mean, they even dressed
the Explorer. But even Indiana Jones, there's always one thing they're looking for, and you know what it's about. You want the Ark of the Covenant, right? Because you have all power if you have it, right? You want the stones that connect.
It belongs in a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but that's even a third movie. I think you're looking for aliens. But it was something they wanted. Fourth movie. No, third movie was, of course, the
Holy Trilogy is still fine. It's that fourth one.
Movie, of course, so they're looking for the Holy Grail, and it's a superb movie, and then they go to the aliens, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible fan film.
It basically was.
When we talk about it a little more tonight, when we get into the Indiana Jones 5 stuff, we'll talk about what the hell they're going to be doing with Indiana Jones.
But no, I think that kind of even bounces off the idea of no matter how bad of an idea JJ may have had going forward for this trilogy, it had to be infinitely better than what we got. And we may have even got a peek into what that could have been. I don't know how legitimate this leak is, but I'm sure we'll get into it here in a little bit. But yeah.
I mean, rumors are... Hold on one second. I got to mute.
Yeah, again, we can't speak to its legitimacy, but I mean, it does sound real. And it does. There's a few bits in it that I do remember hearing back in the day, and this goes with what Simon Pegg and Daisy Ridley have both said. JJ had a planned out treatment that they threw out. And yeah.
Well, Rian Johnson is the best part about The Last Jedi is that we have documented proof from Disney, officially released in glorious high definition, of why the film sucks. So, folks, if you ever want a one-to-one why The Last Jedi was as bad as it is, watch The Director and the Jedi. We've reviewed it here on the channel 2 years ago, almost 3 at this point. And essentially, it's a first draft. And Rian Johnson is the world's worst pitchman, which makes Kathleen Kennedy the world's biggest idiot if she bought into his hype, which she did. We have documented video proof.
Let's be clear, she bought into his politics probably more than anything.
Probably, but that is why you, as a producer or the president of a company, and your baby is Star Wars, you should really be extra cautious to who works on it. There's a handful of guys and women that can really do it justice. And when we get to The Mandalorian and other properties like that, that statement stands. Not everybody even involved with that property can do a proper Star Wars treatment. So is there anything else? I mean, one last thing before we do jump away from Last Jedi and fun stuff like that. Solo follows right after The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
A really negative 1-2 punch that some would say it's hyperbolic, but it really did hurt Star Wars more so than people want to realize, more so than your Colliders and your Nerdists and all these other bullshit people out there, because you follow up your next film with a financial disappointment, and people say, "Oh, $1 billion film, how's that a financial disappointment?" We've covered it. You can see how much the movie costs. There were reshoots. Where was Matt Smith? Where were all these other things that were rumored and confirmed and all these things? Like, I bet you somewhere there's a vault full of footage from The Rise of Skywalker that was never, in the film, because they never knew what they were doing. So I think the greatest takeaway from all this is have a plan, Disney. You just jumped in because Star Wars is a successful franchise.
No, it's I actually, after the Last Jedi came out, the first time I spoke publicly about, I shared a Facebook post a few days later, which got a lot of attention. My friends were like, "Wow, you didn't like the movie?" But then when I spoke publicly, I was actually invited to speak to my old business school. I have an MBA, and I went back to my old business school, which was at Dartmouth, the Tuck School, and I was asked to speak as an alumni. And actually, a lot of my talk was about The Last Jedi, which had come out maybe 3 weeks before, so it must have been in January or whatever when I went, first week of January. And I gave a talk to the MBA students about that this is going to one day be a business school case of how a massive corporation blew their wad and destroyed this huge franchise. And I knew that back 3 weeks after the movie came out, and everyone was being told that it was the greatest thing. We didn't even have the fandom menace yet. Everyone is out there independently saying their things. My heart told me this is going to destroy the franchise, and that it would be an economic disaster, and that people would be talking about it in business school. And already now people are talking about it in business schools 3 or 4 years later, right? Saying that this was an example of how, a massive corporation misunderstood its underlying franchise and ruined it. So,
oh God, yes. Yeah. And now, Cameron, we're in the restructuring phase, because as you've heard all the announcements and all these big rumors, that it's interesting how we've spent this season of The Mandalorian hearing X, Y, and Z from behind the scenes stuff. And then now we're seeing almost the opposite with a lot of these announcements. I mean, we don't have Mandalorian season 3 confirmed, but unless they kill him, of course the show's going to come back. They have a good thing, but I also think we're going to watch them have another good thing and ruin it. What do you guys think? Or do you have? We'll get into the actual announcement in a moment, but do you guys have any faith in what is coming from Disney, or do you think they'll go the way of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker because Kathleen Kennedy at the end of the day is still in charge?
Cameron, want to go first, or
I think we should let Mecca go first, because I feel like whenever I always don't let Mecca talk, and that's rude. So I'm going to let Mecca talk, because I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of Mecca's before I was ever invited to come on these things. So it's good.
Oh, thank you. I usually like to let the guests speak first. But Kathleen, I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. She's going to stay there just to. Yeah, I think the whole Mandalorian Baby Yoda stuff let her and allowed her to kind of convince people, see, we got something that's good and it's got my name on it, and look how successful this is. I mean, so I don't think she's going anywhere. I think that kind of solidified her for a while longer. So unfortunately, but I mean, even Baby Yoda tree toppers are trending. So I think people can unanimously agree that at least Mandalorian is possibly the best Star Wars that people have gotten for years. So I think it's going to keep her there forever.
At Mecca, a couple months ago, we had a third quarter or second quarter earnings report come out from Funko and other people that license from Star Wars. And The Mandalorian, they treat The Mandalorian as its own separate brand from the regular mainline stores because it's that popular. Yeah, I understand people not liking Baby Yoda or the cutesy shit. Personally, I think the character's fine. After this past episode, I don't want him to go. Like, I kind of want the Mandalorian and this baby to just go off and have their own adventures and not try to make him a Jedi. But that's for later in the show. But I'm with you. I think they have a good thing. I don't want them to screw it up. Hopefully not. Tom, Cameron, the original point.
Go ahead, Cameron.
I will say, and I've said this on I said this to Jeremy and some others in the past. I've talked to people who are very close with Jon Favreau, who are in his inner circle, and they've told me that he's a deeply, deeply passionate fan of the original Star Wars and of George Lucas, and that he was personally stunned by the direction that Disney was taking it, and that, according to them, that he had reached out and said, guys, I can help you fix this, right? I don't know where you think this is going, but I don't think the audience wants this, and I can help you get it on track. And so I do believe that the things that we can credit The Mandalorian for are from him. I've met Mr. Filoni. I don't know that Dave Filoni would necessarily go against Kathleen Kennedy. He's a corporate guy, and so he seems to flow with that's how he survived all these years. He seems to flow with wherever the water's going. But Favreau came in and said, let's turn the water this way, and Dave Filoni went with it. And I think Kathleen Kennedy had been beaten down so badly from the last year or so of criticism that she willingly or unwillingly let the water go that way. And now I think that the tide is going a certain direction that can't be turned. There's talk about Leslie Headland's alleged TV show she's developing that's allegedly very woke and whatever. I don't know that it's ever going to get on the screen. From all the announcements, and if you guys want to talk about the announcements, I mean, all the announced new shows that are coming, they all seem to be in the direction that Favreau's pointing at, which is classic Star Wars, classic characters, stuff that we care about. And I do actually agree with Doomcock. I do believe that they're going to edit out the sequel franchise using the veil of the Force, whatever, using an alternative timeline situation, just erase it. It never happened. And maybe one day they'll get back to a Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia with other actors or CGI or whatever in the future. But I think we're going to be on the path of the best we can get post George Lucas Star Wars. I don't think we're going to get off that path again.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think The Mandalorian is the best we're going to get. Looking at this, what we have in this list of things, and again, like, yeah, I mean, as far as the Mandalorian goes, it's selling the most toys. The announced Black Series figures they got coming out, all of them are from the Mandalorian.
Oh, you mean like Bo-Katan that sold out instantly today?
I don't know if that was one of the next wave, but the next wave is like all stormtroopers, and yeah, they're all Mandalorian stormtroopers.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like that
Bo-Katan, I think she has her own show. I mean, and you know, and so I think that character is going to be hugely influential.
Oh, I'll be honest with you guys, not to jump ahead, but I think the way the show is going to go is the moment that, I mean, I had my suspicions, but it was almost like clear to me that the moment that ship was blowing up, the Razor Crest, Boba Fett's going to die saving that baby. Fenn, whatever her name is going to get his armor, and the Mando's going to get his ship,
which is going to be bullshit.
They're just going to do that so Boba Fett can actually have a fitting hero's ending and not die in a Sarlacc pit. And I don't think that there's going to be a Boba Fett series. I feel like that was either a misdirect, or if there is one, it's just going to be a prequel, and it's going to be the story of how he got the fuck out the Sarlacc pit. Probably.
Boba Fett, his appearance in this season should have been relegated to, this crate dragon was destroyed. This guy turns around. It's Boba Fett. That's it. I thought that was awesome.
And then you come back next season with more of it. I will tell you, I know for a fact. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. No, sorry. I was gonna say, or you don't. I love the poetic nature of just a one and done, and let the fans salivate forever.
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna milk Boba Fett. They're gonna milk it because they know how important that. Even Lucas didn't expect how important that character was. As a kid, I fell in love with Boba Fett. And he had 3 lines in the movie, right? And when he went down the Sarlacc pit, as a kid, I almost cried. I didn't want Boba Fett to die, right? And so Boba Fett ain't going nowhere. I think
everybody keeps saying that, but I got a feeling.
You could be right. But I will say this. I know for a fact that there was a Boba Fett series in production because I know writers that were up for it. And the writers had, after The Last Jedi, I was a writing team of very close friends of mine they were up for it. They had been having meetings to be writers on the Boba Fett series.
We're watching the Boba Fett series, guys. Like I've been telling you guys this for about everybody's been saying.
Initially, there was an original Boba Fett idea. I think about it, they had permutations where it was going to be a feature film, there permutations where it was going to be a TV show, but they had actually started hiring writers for it. And it was after the collapse of Solo. It was right after the collapse of Solo that they pulled the trigger. Because my friends came to me. They came to me the morning it got pulled, and they said our meeting just got canceled. Our meeting we were supposed to get the job on Boba Fett just got canceled because they're pulling the plug on Boba Fett. So they told me that directly the day that it happened. And then several days later, we heard the news that the Boba Fett wasn't going to go. So I know for a fact that there was a Boba Fett. It gotten pretty far into discussion, and then they pulled it after Solo failed.
And I'm just saying this, and you should know this, Cameron, from just basic writing points. Mm-hmm. You know how you make a character. Mm-hmm. Boba Fett was originally basically a villain, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, he transcended that. He became an anti-hero among the fans, right? Mm-hmm. The way they set him up here, everything is basically pointing towards giving him a heroic ending and passing all his things on to the next generation. They set up that Fennec or whatever hell her name is, basically as a surrogate daughter. Mm-hmm. He's taken to Mando, and he basically set it right up. He's like, my side of the bargain isn't done until I help you save that kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
damn well he's going to die saving that baby, so he can have a heroic ending.
A lot of, Favreau. I wouldn't be surprised. Miss Kennedy would be fine with wiping that character out, right?
That's what I'm saying. She ain't got no shits to give about getting rid of it, and that's the thing. They can do a series and it be a prequel, yeah.
Well, the one thing I am excited for is where they're going to take Bo-Katan character. I worked with Katie Sackhoff. I worked with her on Bionic Woman. She was our villain or your anti-hero on Bionic Woman. And she's a superb actress. I love Battlestar Galactica. I couldn't believe I got a chance to work with her on Bionic Woman. And then her career has continued. And, the fact that she has such a beloved reaction when she appeared in The Mandalorian, it really touched my heart because she deserves it and more. She's a great actress. And, I want to see where this thing goes.
Yeah. Well, and that in the age of the actor, I just don't see them keeping him around long. But anyway, go ahead, Jeff. My bad.
Oh, no, apologize. I was gonna say I like her as an actress. I just don't think that Bo-Katan or Katan, how she pronounced it, whatever, how she fit in that episode. I do wish that Disney would have respected The Mandalorian and not made 2 episodes backdoor pilots for other things, and actually more than that, because the Rangers of the Republic thing seems like another backdoor pilot. And I'm not here to complain about the show because actually I think season 2 is pretty solid, especially after last week's episode. Like, I'm ready for the last one to drop. I had hesitation about certain things with this season, but overall, like, hey, let's see how it ends and let's see what's next for Star Wars, because this is the last thing that I can still follow and go, there's a little bit of hope left. That's it. Other stuff seems a little too produced and fake to me. So before we switch topics to anything else, I wanted to share something real quick, folks. Let me get the link ready. Tom and Mecca know what this is, but I wanted to let everybody know to make sure that you guys are signed up for the Fandom Menace edition of the Stealing Solo book. So we have a second chance opportunity. The link is in the chat right now. You're going to be able to get your painted cover from Anna, That Star Wars Girl, penciled by myself. But there is a day one exclusive of the original High Council, Ethan, Jeremy, myself, and a little appearance by Cecil. And I can tell you tonight that Kyle Ritter, the man who colors Cyberfrog, who brings all that wonderful vibrancy to the work, is going to be working with me. We have been talking behind the scenes, so we got that worked out. I'll be sharing that colored cover soon, but I thought I'd share the black and white one right now, folks. So check it out. Since we have close to 1,000 people watching right now, there it is. So the link is in the chat right now. And Mecca, Tom, you guys are a part of the super secret Fandom Menace project. Are you excited for that one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Am I allowed to say? I was sworn to secrecy.
That's true. You're still sworn to secrecy.
Okay.
But
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, folks, this is just the day one exclusive. This is the black and white line art. I just wanted to share this with everybody so you can join us and get the day one exclusive. You have Jeremy with his Yoo-Hoo. I'm in my costume from the comic, and you have Ethan with a pie. And of course, nowhere in this issue is Cecil. So get that, folks. Day one exclusive. It will be colored by Kyle Ritter, the wonderful artist on Cyberfrog, who colors Ethan's line work.
Amazing, by the way.
And,
just so you know.
Thank you. I'm super excited about that. And,
that picture just says hello.
Yeah, dude. I love drawing Cecil. He's there's Cecil the Hutt and there's Cecil this guy, and I love drawing them both. So, folks, just if you love Cecil, check this out. January 5th is the day it's going to launch. So mark that on your calendars. So
one of these days, I'm going to make a Cecil animated series.
Oh, you better. I have an idea for a Cecil project. We can talk off air. It's not
my whole idea is it's going to be like, how Back to the Future was, where you had Christopher Lloyd intro and exit, but he didn't do the voice on the show.
Yeah.
So like you'll have Cecil intro and exit, but like I'll do the voice on the show, but when it does the credits, it's so and so me is the voice of Cecil because Cecil was too drunk.
I love it.
And then that way I just don't have to rely on him to record his lines and shit. I just got to worry about him doing like some little bits here and there.
Now, what do you have right here to share, Tom, for the stream?
Okay, this before we lose Cameron, this is the supposed treatment of JJ's treatment for episode 8. Yeah. Now again, we're just going off of what this guy says. He supposedly got a hold of it. I think he works in I can't remember what it was, but some kind of tech firm or something like that. And the claims are that this is the treatment for what JJ would have done with episode 8, or was like his map for the incoming directors.
And this is a full script?
It's not a full script, but it's a full treatment. I mean, it's not short. And we're not going to be able to go through the whole thing, probably, obviously. Doomcock did a great video on it with all the great highlights, and he really kind of conformed it down to a listenable story. But yeah.
Well, the reason I'm real hesitant with this is because we had J.W. Rinsler on the show, the guy who works at Lucasfilm. He was talking, there is a level of secrecy that involves lots of lawsuits that, that's why I'm like really hesitant to buy into this. It's like what does this do? Because why would Disney ever want this? Let's say there's some insider that like Ryan Reynolds on the Deadpool film. He leaked that footage. Everyone knows he leaked it. And then look what happened. The Deadpool franchise was created, and they're, two of the highest grossing R-rated films ever. With this almost feels like just more wish fulfillment.
There is a lot of parts of it that do feel like that. I'm not going to deny that, but there's also big swaths of it that do feel like J.J. Abrams writing.
I'll tell you, I think it's real. One of the things is it's the color coding, which also means Disney knows where it came from, because various security things, you have watermarks, you have color coding. So whoever released this isn't afraid to release this. And I'm thinking it's someone within JJ's camp, because that probably color coding means it's within JJ's camp. And my instinct is it's real, because I know the reason Colin Trevorrow's script is out there is that people, I'm not saying Mr. Trevorrow did it, but people in his inner circle that didn't like the disrespect he was given when he was fired from Star Wars, they leaked it. I know, because I received the script from people in his inner circle.
It wasn't a mistake that it wound up in Robert Meyer Burnett's hands, that's for sure. Yeah, he was totally supposed to get it out there.
Yeah, and it was done on purpose by people trying to protect Trevorrow's reputation. And I'm sure that this is also, Abrams has been quiet for a year, but as a human being, I'm sure it eats him alive that he had to, that what he was trying to do was ruined and no one's ever going to see it, in the same way that it ate Mr. Trevorrow alive, that his beauty wasn't shown to the world. So,
but my other question though is, J.J. Abrams just signed like a huge $400 and something million deal with Warner Media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who gives a shit at this point? He's probably like, well, you know what? This is it. This is it. I'm gonna go make Superman.
You got to remember how egotistical a lot of these people are, right, Cameron?
I mean, I will tell you, if I were him, and I do believe JJ cares about Star Wars. One can argue about whether he has the chops to execute it. One can argue that, but I believe in my heart he cares about Star Wars. I really do. And I think he really was shocked and heartbroken in the direction that Mr. Johnson took it in, and he was angry. And that's why he intentionally overrode so much of The Last Jedi in his own best effort to try to get out of the situation, right? And so I think it eats him alive as an artist. He's got all the money he needs for the rest of his life. That Warner's deal ain't going to add any more to that to make it. He's set for the rest of his life already. He wants to be creatively fulfilled. He knows people make fun of him, and that he's the guy with the lens flare and whatever. He wants to be respected as an artist. Every artist wants to be respected as an artist, And so I think that it comes from that place of like, I don't deserve to be labeled the way I've been labeled. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, and I think this is enough years out of it. And again, like, I think Cameron's right. There's a big ego involved here. And JJ, whether you like him or not, he at least had the balls to say, when somebody asked, well, what if somebody says that you're wrong and they don't like your movie? And he's like, oh, they're right. They're right. I'm wrong. I'm not the one who's right. They're the audience. They know better than I do. Like, he at least gave us that much. And I do feel like that early leak right after the movie came out about all the stuff that Disney did to change Rise of Skywalker that made JJ look like, some kind of try to be savior. I think that was another thing that leaked out of his camp. Now, again, I don't believe half of what was in it, but I do believe that some of it was true. And I'm with Cameron on this. I do think this is real, because there's a couple bits in here of things that I heard rumors of before the movie came out that weren't in the movie. Like, that things that were like, and not only that, there's one thing that sticks out about this, no matter how bad certain things go in this treatment, it treats Luke with respect. That is the one thing that I think people would have gravitated towards. And not only that is the main reason why I think KK and Rian Johnson were totally on board with killing this script.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you haven't seen the video yet, or you're not familiar with this, basically the way this starts is it picks up right where the last one left off, but it was Luke pulling a lot of strings in the background and channeling through the Force through Rey, and he knows there's a war coming. And he knew she was coming, and he knows another Jedi's coming, and he's only got 90 days to train her.
So, and there's a time limit to a star. Okay.
He has seen visions, basically, is what it is, because he's on Ahch-To, right, which is the center of. Like, again, there's a lot of stupid shit in this. Don't get me wrong. It's got a lot of JJ-isms, and it even ends on a fucking mystery box. So, but it does give you enough answers to where you're like, okay, now I understand why she's such a great Jedi. She really isn't. It was Luke. But now he's training her, and she's actually in a lineage of this long line of Jedi. So she's not, they kind of give who she is to a point. But like, yeah, it's an interesting idea that could have been much more interesting than what we got, and it doesn't shit all over the characters.
Yeah, it would be nice to have, Luke Skywalker done right and all these other things, but the reason I'm not going to buy into like treating Luke with respect and all this other stuff, they didn't treat Han Solo with respect, and they didn't have any of this other bullshit go on. Like, they didn't treat any of the original characters in that first film any better than Luke. Everyone just glommed on because The Last Jedi is a worse film than The Force Awakens. But Han Solo was treated just as poorly. His character was raked across the board. I mean, he's a deadbeat dad. Literally everything that character, every growth that he had from the first trilogy was undone because it's cool.
So on board with J.J. Abrams and the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I just wonder,
I
like,
don't care about his treatment. Like, great that he wrote one, but to me that doesn't do anything or add anything to the Star Wars universe.
Well, my thing is, it's the whole point is this trilogy's over. Like, what?
Well, yeah.
Outside of ego. Like, what are they? What is trying to be achieved here? We already have like the next vision of Star Wars. Like, we watched them fuck it up for 3 or 5 years, and now they're reshuffling the deck.
Well,
like,
let me give you another reason why this might be put out there on JJ's behalf, and it has more to do with not so much ego in a sense of everybody saying there wasn't a plan, there wasn't a plan. This is JJ probably saying, yeah, there was a fucking plan, and they threw out my plan, and that's what I've been saying for the last few years too, because that's what Simon Pegg and Daisy Ridley both said. They flat out said that. So, like, I think he's trying to save face here, and like, it wasn't my fault this thing went to shit. Because even Han Solo gets a funeral in this script.
Well, I mean, it's with regard to what happened to Han Solo. I agree with you. The character, was disrespected in The Force Awakens, and
utterly destroyed. There's no.
I would only suggest that it wasn't just JJ behind that. I think Harrison Ford has been very.
Harrison wanted her dead.
I think Harrison was like, who knows what happened? Harrison was like, kill me, just kill me, humiliate me. I'm done with this. I don't want to be associated with this. I want to do Indiana Jones, right? I mean, there's other forces behind how that was shaped, and it may not have been JJ's first choice of how that played out.
Well, what about him coming back? Like, no one ever talks about how Harrison Ford came back for episode 9 because to me, this is a lot like Star-Lord being bisexual this week. The reason there's not a lot of hubbub is because fans have been desensitized to all this bullshit. It's been years of, hey, let's take your favorite character. Oh, let's do this. Let's put this quantifier on.
You know why Harrison came back? Cameron's right. We know for a fact between certain interviews and I think Bob's book that the only way they got Harrison to come back was to kill him and let him do Indy 5. And then I bet you $5 the way they got him back for Troz is that fucking dog movie. They're like, we will make your damn dog movie if you just do this scene for JJ, because they didn't have Carrie to do it instead.
But it's so bizarre. Like, I love Harrison Ford. He's my favorite actor. It's so weird to think that one secret scene that no one knew about would be justified in the budget. Because I don't think Han Solo's sudden force vision to Kylo Ren or whatever the hell it was brought in extra people.
Oh, I don't think he got paid much for it or was anything like that. I think he did it more as a favor for Carrie, in remembrance and just because Disney was playing nice and doing his dog movie.
We'll see. I mean,
he probably didn't get paid jack shit to do it.
Well, yeah, it's one day's work. Like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Come on this giant floating thing.
It was blue screen. It was probably in an office somewhere.
Shit, it was filmed at the grocery store down the street from here, Jesse.
Yeah, we did it at Kroger's.
Pretty much, that's what it is. Cecil, I see you're in the chat, buddy. Let me share this with you real quick since you're in the chat. I've been sharing this with everybody. So there you go, Cecil. This is the High Council cover for the Second Chance Stealing
Cecil,
Solo.
check your DMs, man.
Yeah, bro. we need to talk. I've been talking to a lot of people. Like, one of the last ones we need to talk to is you. So let's read some of the super chats because a lot of people have a lot of things they'd like to talk about. And then we are going to continue to cover the Warner stuff as well as all the other leaks and rumors. Not even rumors, excuse me. All the leaks and what are the new shows? That's what it is, the new shows. What's the word I'm looking for? Announcements. Anyway, our first friend, Bowie8085, says, Jeff, any place or website I can get physical media? My FYE closed for good. Personally, Bowie8085, Amazon, if you're opposed to Amazon, that's cool. I saw somebody in the chat want to tell us that they hate Jeff Bezos. Hey, your personal take. That's fine. If you don't want to do Amazon, the only thing I do say about Amazon is there's a lot of third-party sellers that sell really good quality used stuff. I know FYE had a lot of good used stuff too, so I don't know what you're looking for. But I mean, if FYE is your only place for rare import stuff, just go to the internet. Usually get good deals. Tom, I know you're a big physical media guy. Any recommendations? Same for you and Cameron and Mecca. Any recommendations for our friend Bowie?
As far as places to go?
Yeah.
Well, of course, like I use eBay, Amazon. I go directly through I have used NECA, but I'm not a big fan of them. I mean, what exactly all you're buying? You're like movies and stuff. I go directly to like a lot of the boutique websites. That's the best way to get some of the lesser, smaller titles because they generally sell out real quickly. Like Beastmaster, for instance, just came out and that thing sold out real quick. And the best way to get it was right through their website. But otherwise, yeah, just Amazon pre-orders. Shout Factory, you can get generally straight through there. Warner Brothers actually has an archive with a lot of great movies that aren't available everywhere. So like that's always a good place to jump to. Gosh, there's so many great places, but yeah, just kind of look at what you buy. If you buy certain films from like certain boutique places, head over to their website, check them out. You never know.
So I will add to that. Everything Tom said is correct. And this is going to sound obnoxious. Forgive me for saying it, but just use Google. If you have a particular kind of film, for example, that you like. I love horror movies. I like some of the old classic horror movies and some of the sort of out there horror movies. There's Severin Films that's out there. If you Google, you'll find and you can go to severinfilms.com. You can order directly from them. I like, there's documentaries I watch about Bigfoot and occult stuff and Mothman, and you can get it directly from the people making the documentaries, right? And so you just have, I don't like Amazon either, right? I try to minimize. Today I went out to a store when I had the choice of ordering through Amazon. I went out to a retail store in LA just to support the store when I could have bought it for Amazon for cheaper, right? And so you have to find your way out because they monopolized our current economic situation. I think 2020 is a lot about that. So you just have to find out who's producing the stuff that you want and Google it. And there will be people out there that are not the big conglomerates that are distributing your stuff. And often the stuff that's boutique isn't going to be found through the big conglomerates, and that's a good thing.
Our friend or Mecca, anything you'd like to add?
See, I used to just grab stuff online all the time when I was really collecting a lot of the DVDs and physical media. I really haven't been buying any since movies have been so crap lately, though.
If anyone has a time machine, go back to Media Play in the late 90s. It was the best store ever.
Mm-hmm. Tower Records was good too.
Yeah.
Just compare prices, if anything. Yeah.
Virgin Megastore. Oh, I loved Virgin Megastore.
Mm-hmm. Just I don't like to go to Walmart for some reason. Like whenever you pick up a movie from there, it feels like they have like their own special version, and by special I mean it's lesser. Like it just feels shittier.
I'll tell you this right now: don't be afraid to reach out to me. I am a Blu-ray nut. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter. I will answer. I even know guys like in the industry. I'll get an answer.
Well, Tom, I'm so glad you know these things because I'm going to start asking you really.
Oh yeah, don't be afraid to ask me anything. I got guys. I'll sit there and we'll talk for hours about Blu-rays and shit. Like, I knew about the Friday the 13th box set almost a year before it was announced. I was chomping at the. I think I told Mecca about it too. I'm like, I want to talk about this. God damn it! It's like I knew about the Critter box set. All this stuff coming out. So like, yeah.
When are they making a Ghoulies box set?
Oh, they got Ghoulies 1 and 2 out, but 3 is owned by a different company, and 4, I think, is owned by a different company. So I don't know if 3 and 4 will ever come out with the other ones. But if you can find it, that Ghoulies 1 and 2 Blu-ray from Shout is pretty good.
Our friend Zontar says, my favorite horror anime is Shiki. It's an isolated town that has an epidemic that's more than it seems. It's slow to burn. It's a slow burn, 18-episode buildup, and 6-episode climax. Well, Zontar, I'm going to take a picture of that because Jesse, that sounds like that episode of Supernatural we watched where they got stuck in the town and they had to go to the vet clinic and shoot all the people because they all got possessed by the infection. Yeah. The Roanoke, that's what it was. But Zontar, thank you very much. And Zontar, if you're still in the chat, if you could let me know where your show is, because I would like to check it out. I just don't know where to stream it. Is it on Hulu? Is it on Crunchyroll? Let me know. Sentimental Cat says, and your suit sucks. Thank you. The Clown World Review says, Jeff, you were the first to take me down the YouTube rabbit hole 3 years ago. I've made some great friendships since. Thank you for speaking out, brother. Well, the Clown World Review, thank you very much. And folks, that's the best part of the Fandom Menace is the community. I mean, you made friends. Hell, I made a girlfriend out of it. All kinds of stuff. So Fandom Menace people, that's what it is. It's just a group of people that like shit or dislike shit that come together and have a good time. And it's cool because everyone that's on the outside that wants to say, oh, it's all these terrible things, everybody inside knows what's up, and we're just having a good time. We say, screw everybody else. We don't pay attention to it. But the Clown World Reviews, thank you very much for a super chat. Infinity Hand says, what do y'all think of Durge, the man that would eat Boba Fett and every other bounty hunter in all of Star Wars? I want to see that scary alien come back. Infinity Hand, didn't Durge die in the Clone Wars? I thought he bit the bullet on the show. I don't know. Folks in the chat, let me know if Durge did in fact die, because I thought that was a cool character. Have you guys ever watched the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars shows? Yeah. Check them out. They're about 3
Yeah,
or
I got
4.
the DVDs and the posters, actually. They're awesome. They're fucking amazing.
I would definitely buy those in like Super HD or 4K or something like that, because those shows look awesome in standard definition, so I couldn't imagine seeing those in high definition.
Yeah, they need to be. I mean, I would love to buy a Blu-ray of the two.
We'll read 2 more, and then we're going to get back to some of the stuff that Cameron would like to talk about because we only have him for a moment more. Our friend AJ Journeyman says, say what you will about Justice League, but at least I knew what was going to, or at least I knew what was going on compared to Smelly The Last Jedi. Justice League is greater than The Last Jedi.
That's true. That's true.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I know you liked it, actually, Jeff.
Sorry, Tom, what did you say?
I don't know if he liked it, but I was going to say, I think Jeff didn't mind it as much. You've watched Justice League a few times, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's not a terrible movie.
Justice League's the movie where I go and I watch it and I go, when does this get terrible? And then it ends and I go, oh, it's not terrible, but it's not good either. It's just, it exists and it's fine. I can't even get mad. I don't even have enough emotional energy to pick it apart. That's why the Snyder Cut stuff, while it's interesting from like what it actually is, like what it represents, I'm just like, fine, give me more. I'll watch it. If it goes somewhere, cool. If not, whatever. It just,
I mean, look, and my good friend Abu Nas in the Fandom Menace, I disagree on this. My fellow Muslim brother out there, he loves Batman v Superman. I mean, to me, that's a terrible movie. I mean, that to me is a bad movie, right? And I would love to see an alternative version of that. Of what could have been, right? And I didn't mind Man of Steel. I liked 3/4 of Man of Steel. I thought the last act was basically just one big fight scene without any dialogue, which I thought took away the fun of the fight of the movie. But Batman v Superman, I was like, well, what's happening here? Holy crap!
That was the bad one. That was the one that to me is way more offensive than Justice League. Justice League never holds on anything long enough to be offensive. BVS has these moments of I don't know, like self-aggrandizing.
Well, I mean,
very self-indulgent, yes.
Yeah.
Like the character Lex Luthor is the entire movie. I mean, the character makes no sense. It's over the top, right? And you're like creeped out watching it, right? To me. And so the only thing I will say is that the moment, and I had been very like, I don't know if Gal Gadot is right for Wonder Woman. The moment she appeared on screen, I was like, yep. She's right. She's Wonder Woman. She's Diana Prince. I want to see this movie. I mean, that was the only thing. And that was a magical moment in the movie. I was like, what the hell is happening here, right? So.
Now, I've tried to watch, I actually own the Ultimate Edition of BVS on Blu-ray. So people out there, I have given it a shot. I don't think it adds enough. With something like The Punisher from 4, I feel like the director's cut adds enough. Actually, it adds a subplot, so it makes the story even richer.
Daredevil
to me, the extended. Oh, you remember that one?
Daredevil was a good example, too.
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
Daredevil was... The director's cut of Daredevil is a completely different movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not shitty. I can't say it's great, but by the standards of 2003, it was one of the, like, if you take the director's cut of Daredevil and put it out in 2003, it's one of the better superhero movies of its day.
It is. It was
pre-Nolan, folks.
Yeah. It was one of the darker ones we got at the time, too.
Oh, God, yeah. That was one of the times when Michael Clark Duncan playing the Kingpin, while I would have preferred the traditional look like we get with Vincent D'Onofrio, at the time, I couldn't think of an actor that brought that kind of charisma to that persona, like that character. So it's one of those race swaps where I'm like, I don't like race swaps at all, but he did a good job. So I don't know what to say about it. That makes sense.
No, I think he did a great job. I think the whole cast is great. I mean, outside of maybe Jennifer Garner's a little meh at times. I mean, she's a great actress, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if she could really do Elektra. Obviously, her movie she didn't carry on her own. So, like, yeah, I can't speak for that part. But yeah, no, I mean, Bullseye is amazing. Colin Farrell is awesome, and Ben Affleck does just fine. Jon Favreau, speaking of, I thought he was great in it. I mean, yeah, and like you said, Michael Clark Duncan, I thought it was a great cast. The story was lifted right out of the comic book for the most part. So, I mean, yeah, the R-rated version, definitely go for it. I think that's the only version on Blu-ray.
Probably, because and one last thing too, I looked up Jennifer Garner's ethnicity. She's German and Swiss. Elektra is not German or Swiss.
No.
So I just, folks, I can say, hey, they did it okay with the Kingpin, but they fucked Elektra up royally. Just because she's white doesn't mean they got her right. So there's
they'd
more
have been better off getting J-Lo, to be honest with you. Not as much. Not saying I wanted that, but like, yeah, that'd have been even at least closer than
it's
what
bullshit.
we got.
It's bullshit, but I don't know, man.
No, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, no, they totally whitewashed that character.
Remember what they did, though, Gigli. So we would have had Gigli.
Absolutely. No, but like Gal Gadot would have been perfect.
Yes. And I think the woman that they have that plays her on the TV show is great. She looks the part. Is everything. I love the Daredevil show.
I only saw the first season. I really enjoyed the first season. I thought it was great.
Give the other two a shot, man. It kind of sucks that they it's done, but hey, who knows? Maybe he'll come back for Spider-Verse.
It is what it is. Well, look, the thing with Netflix is all of us who are creators have come to understand that if you get a Netflix deal, the good and bad. The good is you get a huge amount of money. I mean, it's more money than anybody else pays, right? By an exponential level. Like if you get a deal with ABC to make a TV show, then you deal with it. Netflix, take the deal with Netflix. Okay? You're like, oh my God, I just got $1 million. Okay, I'll do it, right? So that's what. The bad part is you better be ready to end your show in one season because the odds of them picking up a second season are so low. You got to plan it out. I mean, people didn't realize that in the early years of Netflix. They went in, they wrote their cliffhanger show, and then it got pulled. And they're like, oh, I didn't get to finish my show. So now, if you get it, you're like, just plan it and be ready for it to be over, one and done.
So I think it's time for us to shift to talk about other streaming because Tom, you and I have talked about this. Even in our personal chats, we talk about streaming and movie and platforms and all this stuff. So this is in our wheelhouse. Cameron, you work in the industry, so this is stuff that affects you and your way of life. And Mecca, you consume it just like all of us too. So it's going to affect how you consume.
Well,
so
if you're talking about the streaming wars, we've been covering this before The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. You guys over at Midnight's Edge definitely have. That's been kind of your baby for many, many years.
I still wish we could have trademarked that in some way.
One of my favorite images was somebody made a wrestling match, but they put little boxes that had Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus on them, and it made like a battle royale. It was a pretty cool graphic. That's what I think of when I think of streaming wars. But so Tom, D23, well, technically the Disney Investor Day was last week. And prior to that, we had some huge announcements from Warner Brothers over on HBO Max talking about the end of their slate, their 2021 slate coming to HBO Max, same day as theater for the first month, I believe. So that was a big, big announcement. And we were talking about the landscape of entertainment changing. Then this last week, we had the Disney investors announcement. And again, the entertainment landscape seems to be changing once more. This time, more along the lines of, we knew this was coming. So there were a plethora of things that were announced over the D23 or whatever the fuck expo was called. Cameron, of all the things that were announced, what are two things that interest you that you have seen were coming out?
What from Disney?
Yeah,
like
I don't know the full slate, but the ones that I heard about that intrigued me was this Rangers thing that's going to be with Gina Carano, right? Where that's going to continue her character, and I have a great affection for that actress and for what she's doing, and I was actually blown away. She followed me a few weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, Gina Carano followed me. Whatever, that's all. A little pride there, but whatever. So I'm looking for. Like I'll take it, and she's absolute sweetheart, and she's very successful and has earned it, and I love her courage politically. But that's a whole other separation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking, and I understand that they're going to do an Ahsoka show, which I think is going to be good, and again, that's a beloved character, and I think they're handling that character properly, and so those are the things that I think I'm excited for, and again, for me, it's Favreau getting things back on track with the stuff that he knows the audience wants.
Yeah, we got 52 things announced, 10 Star Wars projects, 15 Marvel, and then, of course, the rest would be movies and other series related to Disney, Pixar, across the board. And, of course, 90% of it appears to be going to Disney+. Very little of it, and surprisingly so, but not surprisingly in some circles, they said, oh, Black Widow will be coming to theaters still. But we'll get into that in a moment. The other thing was the Star Wars movie they announced, the only Star Wars movie they announced, which was Rogue Squadron from director Patty Jenkins. What
I
did you
saw the trailer for that, and I was blown away when Patty got into the X-wing or whatever. I couldn't believe it.
I saw that one and I rolled my eyes and I thought, oh God, another one of these.
Whatever. But I was touched by Patty sharing that her father had been a fighter pilot, right? And that was very personal. I'm a huge fan of her as a filmmaker, and I know she's going to throw her heart into this because there's something personally, emotionally connected to her in Rogue Squadron. I'm thinking it'll be great.
I just hope she can take that and bring that to the table, but also balance and understand that it's Star Wars and it's their world, not.
She will. I one of the reasons I know she will. Let me give you something very specific why I know she will. She's very careful in not alienating the audience politically. I don't know what her politics are, but she's very careful. And I watched today when she did just today she did a live stream, sort of a live premiere for Wonder Woman 84, where they sort of interviewed her on the stage, and people were watching by screens or whatever. There weren't people in the audience. And it was interesting. She kept using this phrase. She said, Wonder Woman represents the hero for all mankind. In Hollywood, to use the phrase mankind is a very intentional political choice, because I am afraid to use that word in writers' rooms because you get you can't, mankind is a sexist word. You use humankind, you use people, right? And for her to use that phrase, it's an intentional reference, knowing that people in Hollywood get very agitated by that phrase right now. She's using that knowing that that's a bridge across political spectrum. She just wants to make a movie. Wonder Woman is not about politics. And because she understands the audience, I think she's going to understand the audience for Star Wars as well.
See, Collider just released their review of Wonder Woman saying it's loaded with political, orange man badge, typical Hollywood bullshit.
We'll see. We'll see. But the problem is that's standard stuff, right? They're always going to have archetypal rich white guy villain, right? But in this case, Pedro Pascal's rich Latin guy villain, right? So they're gonna have that's standard. I think that I don't know that it's Trump focused anymore. I think it's more just an archetypal, big bad guy that they imagine.
Well, Cameron, the funny thing is that people don't understand that to be based on Donald Trump can mean two things. Because Lex Luthor in the 80s and all these big businessmen, Biff from Back to the Future 2, is based on him before he's ever president. 80s.
He was always an archetypal figure.
Yeah, when he's like, honestly, I don't care about his politics. I don't care about his efficacy as a businessman. But when you think of 80s businessmen, he's like the stereotypical one. He kind of just was famous for being a famous businessman. That's like when they say that, I wonder if they're smart enough to take it that level, or if they're just so politically focused that they're like, oh, it represents the president and whatever.
Unfortunately, you got to remember when this movie was made and how long it's been delayed for. That's the only thing I'm going to say on that.
Well, I did read Collider's article about this, and the way they set this up, I was reading this and I'm like, well, yes, but if you're actually conservative leaning or a Trump supporter, you're going to interpret this in a completely different way. You're going to interpret this as a, yay, stand up for this thing, and without getting specific, because those are some of the bannable things. But yeah, they you could kind of read it either way. So I'm wondering if she's just kind of giving a sort of under the radar sort of signal that, for mankind, that means we're not trying to exclude you, really. Don't pay, but she can't really come out and say it.
Well, that's the vibe I get from her. I've seen her in person. Like I saw her do a talk, and in my local neighborhood theater, she came and did a premiere of Wonder Woman, the first movie, which I loved, and I couldn't believe I'm in this little theater watching her talk about it. And then the movie split, and she's just very careful about what she says. Again, I don't know what her beliefs are. She's just so aware of the audience. I cannot believe that she would promote, propaganda to alienate the audience. She's just. That might be. There's a studio pushing her script on her, and but even then, even when we looked at Wonder Woman, poor Gal Gadot got really attacked in the first movie, actually by members of my community. I'm a Muslim, and a lot of people in my community were upset that Gal Gadot, who was in the Israeli IDF, right, was being featured in this. And I came out and spoke, said I think she's a great actress. Her politics, I'm not interested in. I'm interested in her as an actor. She's right for this role. And she was attacked, but the movie itself was actually very anti-war. There was one of her squad was an Arab guy, an actor I've worked with, Said Tagmawi, who was one of her squad fighting the Germans, right? And even the Germans weren't the villains of the thing. It was like this evil god that was manipulating the Germans. The Germans weren't even the bad guys. At the end, the Germans, they're like, the war's over. Even you see the young German soldiers like, oh, thank God it's over. She's just too sophisticated a filmmaker, I think, to be trying that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll even bounce off your point too. In the World War I setting, as opposed to World War II, you can avoid those things. You can use the war without getting into the
that's the war of empires. It's not clear to me that there's any heroes or villains. It's just people trying to survive in that world.
Yeah. So based on that trailer, so Cameron, you said that. Now, Tom, Mecca, you go first. What were the two things you were the most excited for from what you saw?
From the Star Wars one?
Yeah, or Marvel, honestly, just of the two of, the big ones.
The Marvel one I'm more excited for, I think, than Star Wars anymore, because the Marvel one, Loki, looks really interesting. I think that looks really fun because he's such a fun character. I want to see what they're going to do and how they're going to fill out that side story. And I think WandaVision looks really fun too, but I really love 60s TV anyway.
Yeah, that's up your alley.
That is so up my alley. I'm going to love all the references in the flashbacks.
It's strange to hear about a comic book project because Mecca notoriously is not into comic book shit. So I was kind of surprised to hear her when she's like all like, I really want to see this.
Were like Archie and yeah, keep this in mind. I grew up more with like Star Wars, and to come in and like just not be that excited for any of these new Star Wars things. I mean, I think I want to see what Leslie Headland's one is. It might be so bad it's good to rip a new one and to riff on a date. Like it might be the new Star Trek Discovery or the new Doctor Who or something. So I'm kind of curious there. I want to see what they do with droids because they're going to be cute. What was it? Baby Groot was going to be really cute too. I imagine anyway. He's going to have some shorts. There was another one. Oh, the Obi-Wan stuff. Did we care about Hayden Christensen?
Well, I wanted to talk about that in
your
a moment.
video hit on pretty much everybody's thoughts on that, I think, Jeff.
Yeah, dude. I'll talk about it in a minute because I don't want to take away from Mecca, but that point pissed me off. Moving on. Continue. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. Like, because my thought with the Obi-Wan thing was like, okay, why Hayden Christensen? Why do I care about him? He's under the freaking helmet by then. I mean, what about James Earl freaking knows? Like,
maybe they're gonna take it off and show him as all burned and scarred. Ew.
That was the part that scared me when I was a kid in the Return of the Jedi. Like, no.
Well, I will say this. Look, Hayden is a really underrated actor. I think he was mistreated a lot by this industry. That's why he's been sort of out of it for a while, and he proved himself. And like there was that movie about that journalist Glass or whatever that he was in that was a really good movie, and he was really good in it. I think he just got disrespected and he didn't get a chance to shine in this town. So if this can give him something to do, but again, he may be facing the Pedro Pascal thing where he's just wearing a mask. Anybody can wear that mask. I don't know why they have Hayden Christensen wearing the mask. So I gotta believe we can see Hayden. Maybe he sees dreams of himself as the other Anakin, right? We gotta see Hayden if he's going to be in this. Otherwise, anybody can play. That's just like this. I don't know dude in Rogue One who played, I don't think it was Mr. Prowse. It was some random guy who was playing Darth Vader in Rogue One. I don't know who that was behind the mask. It didn't matter.
Well, I think their mentality of Deborah Chow, the showrunner, is just the wrong mentality. Oh, the Darth Vader Obi-Wan rematch we've been waiting for. It's like, this to me is, for everyone out there that heard Kathleen Kennedy say, oh, we don't have anything to adapt books or movies or anything like that. Anyone that goes, what the fuck? That's how I felt when I heard that moment. Because it's like no one paid attention closely. They're like, oh, this great rematch that we've been waiting for. It's like, did you not see the thing that you claim to be working on? And to me, this is one of those situations with Ahsoka or Bo-Katan where it's like, we're just going to put shit in it to put shit in it. And the story doesn't matter. Why do you think people are going nuts over Bill Burr in the Mandalorian? Because he's not a traditional Star Wars character. He comes in, he knocks it out of the park. He's one of the best actors the show's ever had. He's a great, compelling character. But you don't need that to be fucking who's Boshek or somebody from the cantina. Like, that's all they're doing is they're just picking these recognizable characters. We won't say iconic at this point. And they're going to throw recognizable characters up on the screen and hope it works and forget that other step of let's build a universe and build a world where these characters.
But that's done. I mean, that chance to build a universe was destroyed by the sequel trilogy. You know, it was ruined. And at this point, for the next generation, they're just going to try to hobble back together some semblance of the original Star Wars. And from a corporate point of view, that's the only safe thing to do at this point. And maybe in a generation from now, we'll start, once they're solidly on track over the next several years, then there'll be a new regime that will come into Disney that will say it's time to expand this, right? But from this point on, they're going to do nothing except Yoda's going to show up again. You know, we're going to go back. You know, Uncle Ben might show up. I mean, Owen or whatever. All these dudes are going to show up, right? Lobot will have his own show at some point.
I'd watch Lobot, a Star Wars story.
I mean, I'd watch a Lobot show. I don't know.
By day, he works for Lando Calrissian. At night, though, he rips up the discos like nobody's business.
You're too good at that, Tom.
Well, that was my Jim Cummings one, but yeah.
I apologize to all of you. I actually have to head out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We were getting to it, but I was able to give some comments on Hayden, which I'm glad I could do. And thank you very much for your generosity of allowing me to be on this. I know a lot of people are watching today, and I appreciate being a guest on the show.
Cameron, we love having you, man. Anytime, always an open invitation. Just love to talk about entertainment with you. So it's so fun to have you.
All right. Well, God willing, I'll come back and want me. All right, guys. God bless you. Take care, Mecca. Bye-bye.
Before we shift gears, or not shift gears, just continue on, I wanted to address Swinging Cod Super Chat. I heard someone wanted to watch the Black Christmas remake. We can make that happen. R.I.P. Brandon Moist. Yes, rest in peace, our fallen listener, Brandon Moist. We had a moment on the podcast this past week talking about Brandon. So, folks, if you're wondering what this means, check it out. He was a big part of the community, and he brought a lot of happiness to the WCBS fans. So, yes, rest in peace, Brandon Moist. But, Swinging Cod, I'd like to say that since this year, 2020 has royally screwed me and I don't get to go home for Christmas, if you want to try to make it a blackout Christmas, sure. So, yes, you're a patron. You know what to do. Make Nick suffer. He hates that movie. It'll be fun. Friends love friends. We make our friends suffer. I'll even wear a horse mask, control my best friend Dion. It'll be fun. Merry Christmas.
Or watch Lobot the movie.
He's the best DJ of the Outer Rim.
Oh, man. If they would have kept Star Wars Robot Chicken, I feel like that would have been perfect for him.
Didn't they do one where like he was dancing? And I think that was where I got it in my head. I just saw Lobot dancing disco like in Saturday Night Fever.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched Robot Chicken Star Wars. That was back when parodying Star Wars was fun.
Oh God, yes.
Like anyone can shit on Seth MacFarlane all you want, and believe me, I'm over Family Guy for like the last 15 years. But the Family Guy Star Wars parodies were really well done. The first one, they were trying to find their footing. But by the time they got to It's a Trap, that finale, I thought that was better than a lot of Star Wars related media in general. So, folks, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend the finale in the trilogy. It's a Trap. Have you guys had a chance to check it out at all?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of
probably when it came out. Yeah, I'm sure I saw it when it came out. Not since though. Well, that recent Lego one was like trying to be a Robot Chicken one, I think, but it was failing miserably by being so cringe.
Yeah, it was. So going back to this announcement, we were talking about Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. Now I'll spare my rage for another moment. Oh, Tom, you didn't get to mention the shows that you were most excited for. Sorry, folks.
3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they were bringing that one back.
Yeah, they are, though. That was among the list. As far as the shows, the Star Wars shows, none of them. Like I'm like with you. Like when they announced that Hayden and Ewan were going to have the rematch we've been waiting for, or whatever, however she put it, like all hope went out the window for that. And I didn't get to mention it while Cameron was here, and I wished I had, but like Scripted said, and I think that's what we've seen with all these, was all this stuff that Disney's working on right now is all stuff that was in pre-production or already worked on before the coup shut everything down. Because that's what he was told, was they're not taking any new ideas. They're just kind of trying to salvage what they got. And that's what we have here. We have the Lando series now, which is basically that Lando movie they were going to make after Solo. The Bad Batch has been announced for a while now. We knew about the Leslie Headland series. The Ahsoka and Rangers series is no surprise. We knew about the Casio keyboard series, and still nobody cares. The Droid one was probably the only one that was kind of a surprise, but it's an animated series, so not a surprise. The only thing I think that was a real surprise out of the Star Wars announcements was the Rogue Squadron movie. But we're not even getting that till 2023, at least. And I bet you it's going to get pushed, because that's if they get to start actually filming it. So as far as the Star Wars shit goes, I was not the least bit interested. I'm more with Mecha. The Marvel stuff got my attention a little bit more. The Mighty Ducks series kind of has me cautious, pessimistic. Yeah, they're basically doing a Cobra Kai version of Mighty Ducks.
So it's going to be the bad team and those dickhead kids? And
not exactly. Not exactly. Not like a ripoff, but what they're doing is it's not a reboot. It's a rebootquel, like Cobra Kai is. But what you have is the Ducks are now like the elite team, right? So like you've got a bunch of kids who suck who can't get in the Ducks. So they start their own team. They need a coach. They go to Coach Bombay. That's the series. So they start their own new team with Coach Bombay. Yeah.
Is Emilio Estevez coming back?
Yeah, he's fucking in it. There's this trailer for it and everything. It doesn't look horrid, but I'm cautiously pessimistic, like I said, because there's a lot of spots where it kind of sees like you can see the wokeness creeping in.
Well, I am just with you on all the wokeness bullshit, but can the Mighty Ducks be made woke? Because the kids were all different colors. There were girls that played.
Yeah, as long as they stick with the original idea, I think that's why I said Cobra Kai. This could be their Cobra Kai.
It should be their Cobra Kai because Mighty Ducks was awesome. They didn't fuck that franchise up until the end. And even then, they had that cartoon that was kind of cool, so I kind of forgave the shitty third movie. But Mighty Ducks is one of those things where everybody felt like you could be one of the Ducks. They don't have to pull this 2020 identity politics bullshit.
I'm not even the second.
I mean, even
doubled down on that.
No,
The weird
and you got kids. You got Goldberg. You got Jewish kids on the team. You got everybody on the damn team. Like, what is Disney trying to do this time? Like, you can't.
The trailer does look okay, and that's what I'm saying. I'm cautiously pessimistic. I don't want to get my fucking hopes up too high because I'm like you, Jeff. I feel like everybody's overlooked this. I'm like, we got Emilio Estevez coming back who hasn't done shit in 30 years. Like, what has he done?
What has Emilio Estevez?
Exactly, like something Todd just said. Yeah, Emilio's back in front of the camera. Like, and I kind of like the concept. The Ducks have become the new elite team. It is kind of like Cobra Kai in a way, but it's twisted a little bit. You know, the kids who suck can't get on that team. So mother's like, well, fuck this, and starts a team for her kid and all the other loser kids. And they need a coach, and they go to Emilio Estevez. It sounds like a great idea to me as long as it's executed properly.
So, Tom, I know where Emilio Estevez has been.
Directing besides that? I don't know.
Cincinnati. He's
WKRP.
Yeah. It's cool that they use that denomination because the real radio station is just WKRQ.
Yeah.
One letter off. Q102.
Which is funny because isn't it supposed to be a W station since it's on that side of the Mississippi anyway? But like,
yeah.
Sorry, that's my radio school.
It's cool. Full transparency, I've never seen a full episode of that show.
For those who want to know why some channels are W and some are K, it depends on what side of the Mississippi they're on.
Yeah, that's why we're WCBS.
WMRC.
Thank you. I'm glad you've seen. What the hell was that movie called? Not Dirty Deeds.
Private Parts.
Private Parts. Well, didn't that movie get blown out of the water by the re-release of The Empire Strikes Back, and he never got over it? Return of the Jedi. That's
Lucas. Actually, they were so worried about Private Parts, they pushed Return of the Jedi a week and pissed me the fuck off because that was the first time I thought I was ever going to be able to watch all 3 Star Wars movies at once because I knew my local Cineplex or whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't call it a multiplex because it only had like 4 or 5 screens. So I knew once that movie got pushed in instead of Return of the Jedi, there was no way they were going to hang on to Star Wars. Like Star Wars was going to be gone. Well, I was wrong. They got rid of Empire, but there was no way I could do the trilogy. I was pissed. I was so mad when that happened. But yeah, they actually moved Return of the Jedi a week, and then it ended up beating Private Parts in its second weekend. But yeah, it was like all 3 Star Wars movies were in the top 4 with Private Parts. Yeah.
Dead Jeremy, to be fair, WCBS has already taken as well.
Well, I don't know if they're top 5, but anyway.
I wish I got to see all of the special editions in 97 because I was a little kid and going to the movies wasn't a top priority for everybody. I only got to see the first Star Wars, so I still got to see it. But
it was kind of like lemmings being led to the slaughter, though. That's what you got to understand. It was like we were so excited to finally get to see it on the big screen. We didn't realize when Lucas said 2 years before that one last time, he fucking meant it.
Oh, I was a fan by that point, and I was like, why would you only put a movie out one more time on tape? Like, what if I don't want it today? That's stupid. As a kid, I tried to rationalize what that meant.
Yeah, it meant that's the last time you're going to be able to get that version, basically. Yeah.
At least, if anything, George Lucas is an honest man. No one can ever say
he didn't lie to us. Yeah, he's not like Bob Iger. I'll give him that. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the more I learn about George Lucas, I get the Star Wars fan, oh my God, he's the creator, thank the maker, and that tired cliche that everyone likes to say. But learning more about him as a person, he's far more interesting than just I made Star Wars.
Why do you think I dug into it? You can't stop once you get into it. It's like layers. You can't just have one. You start getting deeper and deeper, and he's full of layers, and he's an interesting cat. Like
he's like an ogre.
He's like an ogre in an onion.
What about parfait? Everybody likes parfait. I never
the first Shrek is pretty good.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
I haven't seen that in probably a decade. You want to watch Shrek, Jesse?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Hey, Tom, is that on 4K yet?
No, but I think it is on HBO Max right now, if I'm not mistaken.
We do
it's on one of the streaming channels. I know it's on one of them. If not, it's on Peacock, one of the two. And Peacock is free for the most part.
We have that Peacock app on our TV, and it's weird because we can get that, but we can't get the WWE network on our TV. So
that sucks.
Here nor there. Thank you for Xbox, though.
Speaking of that, though, I guess Roku or whatever, Roku is the one who's being a dick with AT&T on HBO Max. I guess they're still button heads, so I don't think that's gotten resolved yet either.
There's so much turmoil going on right now between that area between fan and producer of content. I mean, you have Roku, who's causing problems for people that want to use that platform that can't get that. On the gaming aspect or the gaming front, you have issues with the Cyberpunk stuff. Have you guys been following that at all?
Not directly, but I know it's been soaking up all the air out of the room. Yeah,
a little bit of it.
I feel conflicted because I feel for the publisher, but I also am surprised how the media is treating them. Does it make sense? Where I'm like, they're like, we're sorry, we're this, they're trying to do everything right. And we're looking at shit like The Last of Us 2 or other situations where people just roll over because of politics or other, ideals from a producer of content. And this one just seems to be getting railroaded. And most people are like, it's fun for the most part, but it's got these glitches and shit. So hopefully they get it worked out. Jesse, when do you want to stream Cyberpunk?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll stream Cyberpunk tomorrow. I would have streamed it last week, but Target lost my copy until yesterday. So that's why I haven't really talked about the game much.
Honestly, I see this as one of the biggest snafus in history. They had a situation where if they actually had enough consoles for the demand, it would have been the perfect title to have just available on the brand new consoles, and you have to wait till next year when it's ready to get it for the PS4 and the other Xbox. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd love that.
I don't know why they didn't do that unless there was some kind of like legal reason they couldn't have, because I mean, I remember in the past, like, wasn't that the way it used to be? Like some big new game would come out. Yeah, the new console would get it. But if you were, a poor kid like me, you had to wait till the regular Nintendo or the regular PlayStation 2 version came out or whatever, or PlayStation version. Cause you didn't, whatever. Well, I had a PS2, but know what I'm saying?
The problem that's actually happening is developers aren't focused on the next gen. So we ran into this right into the end of the PS3 into the PS4. You can actually blame The Last of Us. We basically came off of a generation of remakes and then cross-gen remakes and then cross-gen platform support. And it's fun. It's great. I love it. That's why I'm really into this new Xbox. but we also have developers and a market that has been conditioned to just constantly putting shit out on old and new and just kind of ignoring the old and going for the new. But like you said, scalpers are nuts, dude. I was reading comic books online, that bullshit website I use. They had an ad for a program you can buy on how to scalp stuff, and it had all this shit listed. I was like, man, this is why people can't get game consoles for 2020. Not because the year sucks, but because assholes buy up 1,000 of them and then they want to sell them for $800 a piece. But I loved your idea of, why don't we put the new game on the new console? It should be that way. It should
I probably answered my question, is they didn't have enough in the market yet, is what I'm thinking.
Well, even that, I bet you, Sony and Microsoft would say, we have 140 PlayStation or 140 million PlayStation 4s or whatever the number is out in the wild. They would think, well, you want us to sell possibly that many games. So nobody really wins in this situation. And by the way, YouTube is not helping out, because have you seen the fluctuation in the view count? It goes up by 100 and then drops by 100 and then goes up by 100. It's a weird night.
There's been a lot. It's not been you. It's happened to us. There's some kind of weird glitch.
They just updated a thing where on your creator dashboard and stuff, it says what is it? Just content now. So they're moving and shifting stuff a lot. So expect wackiness.
No, I've noticed it. I've been on a few other streams that they've had a similar issue. It's YouTube doing something. But no, I mean, I think this game was a big enough deal that I think that's part of the reason why YouTube got crashed the other morning. I could be wrong, but I think that's what did it. Was too many people were streaming that game.
And they can play it. I mean, it's just so broken on PS4. You can't even, like, they're giving refunds for it. When do they ever give refunds?
Well, and I think that's just it, Mecca. It was like, okay, you have a level that this game of excitement it was going to produce anyway in general. Mm. And then when the problems started to creep in, I think that just multiplied it by 10. You know, kind of like how The Last of Us 2. Yeah. You know, the game produced enough, you know, buzz as it was, but once the buzz got out there of what the game was about and, you know, where it was going, well, then that just sent it over the edge. And I think that the bugs in this game and the whole refund business is just sending this one over the edge. It's a big game. I can't believe they fucked it up this bad. And I not only is this game fucked up, but I'm curious to feel like, I mean, I know, Jeff, you were able to get an Xbox, right? But like, I know a lot of people, like, I wasn't able to get a PS5 or an Xbox. I tried to get one of either, and I wasn't able to. But
I was lucky because I followed the whole online protocol, you know, wait in line and all this crap. Mm-hmm. And then Amazon forgot to put their shit up, or maybe that was just meant to be at a later date or a later time. But Amazon put it up. I saw IGN had updated their page and I got it instantly. But ask Jesse, I checked my phone every day after it said that I had a confirmed order because of all the controversy. I was expecting it to be a, you know, like them just be like, oh, sorry, we canceled your order, or you'll get it next year, some bullshit. But I got one.
Well, we got a special guest, but my point was going to be, I think this was the biggest fuck up of any company's launch in history as far as game consoles go. That's just me.
It's up there, but that's the one thing I want to talk about, though, real quick before we introduce our guest. The narrative, Tom, is that this is the worst, but the Avengers game that just came out that everyone bent over for to make excuses for is considered the biggest failure since E.T.
Oh, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the console part of it.
Oh, no, like, but I'm just saying, like, across the board right now, gaming's broken. And it goes to show you that these places have an agenda, too. They will, oh, my God, a Marvel property from Square Enix? Of course we're going to play nice.
I'll say it's worse than E.T., but we can get into that after we announce the esteemed guest we have here.
I think I can finally show his name.
Hello.
Hello. What up, Cecil?
Nothing is worse than AT&T. You can't get out of the pit. Hello, Mecca. Hello, Tommy.
You have to wait for the spaceship thing.
What? Is that true?
I don't remember. There's something that comes and you got, watch the Angry Video Game. He'll tell you.
There's a way out of the pit?
There's a way out of the pit.
Oh yeah. God. That game sucked. I'm sorry. That game was terrible.
It did.
You eat the food, you fall in the pit, you die, and that's it.
When I was probably about 6, I went to my cousin's house, and they're like, we got a video game console finally. And this was, 1994? So yeah, Super Nintendo was cool. And they're like, we got this Atari, and they put in E.T., and that's the game they tried to convince me that Atari was cool with. And so I have this weird stigma. Yeah, with E.T. in the 90s. So I have this weird stigma.
Oh my God. Yeah, that game is terrible. It's like a nightmare. So I put out a video today, which is very rare. I wanted to get one out for 2020.
Just one.
Yes.
But it's
I don't have the strongest what they would call work ethic. But it was a theory. I'd like to run it by you guys because I'm positive none of you have watched.
We're all Yoda ears.
My theory is Rey is Baby Yoda.
So she's like,
she gets fed after midnight. I'm thinking.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Favreau and Filoni were given the fix this shit. Okay, we have this unlikable character that's a Mary Sue. All right, how do we make her likable? Well, she's made from the most likable character we have. And how is she Mary Sue? She received training through him, doesn't know it. You know, so it's unconscious, it's subconscious. So my theory is that Moff Gideon is doing these experiments with Baby Yoda's blood to make clones. You saw the failed one. Mm-hmm. At some point in the future, they're going to have a successful one, and that's going to be Rey. And hold on, and when Palpatine's son finds out about it and knows what she's going to be doing, he hides her on that planet to get her out of that life and she thinks she was abandoned, but really he did that on purpose to save her. So if you hate Rey, you hate Baby Yoda, because basically this, and it's going to also explain why I have a feeling it won't be cloned. He won't be cloned yet, but at some point in the future, after, or maybe he's had training from Mace Windu, or I don't know what his story is, but maybe he was trained by Anakin, maybe he was trained, who the fuck knows, but there's a reason she's gonna say I'm all of the Jedi, is because this Baby Yoda has had background with like a bunch of Jedi, and they're gonna answer every question. Was she so good with no training? Why was she saying I'm Rey Skywalker? Maybe it wasn't Luke and Leia, but maybe it was Anakin that she was talking about. And this might be all like on an unconscious level, because it's in her DNA.
I would be rendered unconscious if that was real. I don't want that to be real, Cecil. Take it back.
He's not the only one who's had that theory. I've heard it.
Who? Well, what other idiot is there out there?
Not like the basic part of it anyway. The part of the blood and that they end up cloning, or they make a baby with the blood, and it's Rey, yeah. And that exact where Palpatine's kid,
that person.
Yeah. Somebody had a similar idea to where, like, yeah, the parents, it's not actually their kid, but they whisk it away to save it because they want to get it away from Palpatine. But yeah. No, I heard it's a very similar theory, and I'm like, I hope to hell not. But I like your version better.
John Willis has it. Race backwards is your. Cecil is right. I like that. I like that logic. It's as good as anything Ryan Johnson fucking wrote.
I'm so glad, Cecil, you're here to celebrate the anniversary of The Last Jedi. You made it a real special day.
3 years. I remember where I was.
Drunk?
No, I was not in theater, and probably drunk. My brother came out of that movie and he told me, I said, how was it? He said, I never left a movie where I felt like the director hated me.
Oh my God, how accurate.
Oh, it's true. And it hurts.
Contempt for the audience, like complete fucking hatred of their fan base.
So fucking true.
What I want to know, since we have all these new Star Wars announcements, guys, is where is the Rian Johnson trilogy? Like, when are we going to get that? We've been told for 3 years what assholes we are, and we have to wait to see his brilliance put on screen. Cecil, can you come up with an excuse of where the Rian Johnson trilogy is?
He never said it was a Star Wars trilogy. It's going to be a Knives Out trilogy.
Oh, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but
that movie was way overrated. I
agree with that.
Oh my God, it was.
I haven't seen it because I've already seen it when it was called Clue. So,
oh my that
Oh,
That
Daniel-
what's his name? Daniel Craig's Foghorn Leghorn fucking.
Benoit something.
We gotta let's get a we need someone to do a deep south fucking accent. Oh, let's get a British guy to do it. That'll fucking work.
I'll say that's a good idea.
Hold on now. Yeah, it's
Knives
so,
Out was fun though.
it was all right. The hype was I thought Chris Evans and the main girl, the assistant, that they had good chemistry. But a lot of it was just hammy acting and very few. I didn't see that coming. I did like the final one where the girl does this phone trick, but that's about it. The rest of it was kind of like, I don't know. It was just they were so impressed with themselves, and you could.
Right?
Spoiler, I'm never going to watch this movie.
See what we did? It was like, all right. It wasn't fucking that clever. Calm down.
Yeah, that's why it was funny. I think that because like it had all the weird. You definitely see all the Rian Johnson-isms with like the weird camera angles and odd acting choices, and it's like he is trying so hard to stand out.
It was try hard. You felt try hard.
Yeah.
So you're saying he's the type of guy who brags after mediocre sex and thinks he's the greatest?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that type of guy.
I figured he'd be the type of guy who goes, was it good? Was it any good?
No, you don't ask. The question is not.
You have to ask if you can afford it.
Don't ask if you don't want the answer.
Well, no. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm that type of guy always. But.
Well, unless you're casting Knives Out too, then you could ask away.
Electric Boogaloo.
Was it good? It was the greatest ever.
And that's how Cecil
The way you cornholed me, I tell you.
Oh, that's gonna have Kelly Marie Tran in it.
Oh yes, just what it needed.
You know what? Rian Johnson will be like, "Who? Yeah, you ruined her career, bro." And then you just,
He owes her. That's why.
Yeah,
I think he does.
She's gonna like. The camera will pan to her. She'll wave hi, and then the safe will fall on her.
She's like,
fucking in the movie for 3 seconds.
No, he'll have her crash a car again.
Oh God, no.
I got a question for you guys. What did you think of what spawned from The Last Jedi, the Reylos?
Boo!
No, what spawned from The Last Jedi was the Fandom menace.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
We'll celebrate.
I would say it resurged the Phantom Menace because
that was the birth of. I mean, just people took to the fucking airwaves. They were so angry.
I mean, I was there for Phantom Menace, and I know you were too, Cecil. You were just a young lad, so.
My parents,
like Anakin. You're like, I was so wizard.
My parents took me to see Clone Wars in theater.
Yeah. How old were you then? 2, 3?
38.
Ma, I thought you said you were going to get me popcorn. Where's my popcorn?
Mother, give me your credit card.
Yeah, you fucking bitch. Where's my?
So we must have missed this earlier in the year because
keep this shit up. I'm moving out.
Real quick, our friend Ted Brogan says, I'm with Cecil on this. It's terrible, but makes sense if you factor Lucasfilm into it. So, Cecil, your theory is valid because it's Lucasfilm. Fuck it. That's the X factor. You throw in Lucasfilm, anything is possible.
It's anything could happen day.
So, Reylos are a bright spot in the Star Wars fandom. No, they're not.
Who? Besides Lindsay Romaine.
The Nerdist in all of these geek websites are bullshit.
Wait a minute. Look, this is like almost a year-old article.
Yeah, but it's apparently people are talking about it today. So it is the anniversary of The Last Jedi. And let's take a look at this and let's try to not.
I'd rather watch that Godzilla.
Hey, girls, have you ever met a guy? The first time you saw him, he was stabbing his father to death, and the next time you saw him, he was mind raping you with the machine.
Yeah, and he told me to put his shirt on, and he's like, "No,
try not to swoon."
Oh my! Here we go.
What was the likable part?
The chesticles.
His barrel chest.
Yeah, he had that fucking, that whole like Adam West chest going on.
She liked it when he ripped the necklace off of her neck, assaulting her.
He's like, he had the Peruvian, like those giant lung, like a barrel chested. Is he Peruvian?
Who, Adam Driver?
Yeah.
No, but I think Oscar Isaac is.
Well, he's not barrel chested at all. There goes my theory.
So I just wanted to share some Reylo art, but then I saw this one, and it's Beauty and the Beast meets Reylo. So the artist did a good job, but they completely missed the movie.
Are you kidding? They just basically copied and pasted the Kylo face off of the poster for Force Awakens because it's like the same angle.
No, what I'm getting at is they did it. They made a nice picture, but do they not know what the real story is? This is like the Joker and Harley Quinn. It's not this love story of two people that are fucked up and hate Batman. He abuses and beats the shit out of her, and she is so insane and in love with the dude that she takes it. But the internet, as retarded as it is, has turned it into this grandiose love story. Oh, it's empowering. It's wonderful. No, it's not. Get over yourself.
Oh, come on, Jeff. All Kylo Ben is some fascistic leader who killed his dad. There's nothing wrong with him that can't be fixed.
And he blew up a solar system.
Yeah, he just blew up a solar. She can fix him, Jeff.
She can fix him.
Okay, you know what, Tom? I'm going to learn to be more optimistic right now because I watched Rocky 4. And if I can change, and you can change, and Reylo can change, then we can all change.
Somebody come change my diaper.
Railers aren't even happy when you give them exactly what they want.
What do they want? For Kylo Ren and Rey to be married?
I don't know. But they were screaming their little heads off in the theater.
That's all I know is they fucking hate Star Wars now.
Right?
I will say...
I think they hate happiness, too.
They do hate happiness, Jesse. Ew! Somebody drew Reylo art where they spawned a child? I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm just gonna put these Reylo dolls on the screen.
Did it look like Cecil?
I'm gonna guess giant teeth and a barrel chest. Am I right?
No. Should we show it on air? It's not vulgar. It's not Cecil either. Here we go. Let's just share it real quick.
I don't understand why women find Adam Driver attractive.
He looks like a horse.
Jesse says he looks like a horse.
I was trying to be nice.
I think he's a phenomenal actor, though.
Diego Flores. First of all, I want to read these super chats because Mexi Man and Chief says Adam Driver has a 1920s strongman chest.
Yeah. He's picking up round balls with a hook on top of him. With the 200 written on it.
Cecil, he's the guy that Spider-Man fights in the origin story. Crusher Hogan. Ben Swallow, that's what they called him, right? There we go. I'm going to put the meme up. All of this was just the perfect blend. It was the best of the worst. Like everything, it was a beautiful storm, a big mistake all at once. And Reylo fans seem to be the remnants of those Last Jedi enthusiasts, those supporters that want to say, oh, the Last Jedi was great. It brought all this positivity. It brought this. It brought that. It brought none of it. It brought this. It brought many questions.
Oh, manly.
I think it's just because his waist is so high.
Yeah.
I think he would look normal if he just rolled that down a little bit.
No. I get what he's going for here.
Now, let's. Yeah, please elaborate.
I'm going to kick your ass, woman, if you don't make my dinner look.
He should have a wife beater on. That would be perfect.
No, he already ripped that off because he's too man.
Stella!
Exactly.
Somewhere Marlon Brando is just dead. Anyway, he wouldn't give a shit about Adam Driver.
I totally get you.
Now, with the Star Wars fandom and the Reylos, this came from the Nerdist. People want us to talk about it, so of course we're going to give the people what they want. I'm going to read this for just a minute, and Cecil, we're going to use you as the gauge. When I reach when I've crossed the line, I'll stop. Okay, ready?
Sure.
All right. You're going to use Cecil as the gay?
Yes. Why is romantic love such a controversial thing in fandom? It's something I ask myself a lot as a person who writes about shipping and who desires the kind of love that the stories tell me might exist. Wow, I'm going to stop myself for a second. This is way more fucked up than I thought it was going to be. Strap yourselves in, folks.
Sad.
This is going to be a high. We haven't done this show on the High Council in a while. Cecil, thank you for being here.
I want to before everybody else says that I know somebody else already took credit for my Yoda. I've been shipping Falcon and Winter Soldier for like months before the show came out. I know that's going to be a big thing, but I was doing it way before.
So who's the top and who's the bottom, though?
Well, Falcon's flies. He's the top.
Okay. I'm just curious.
I mean, those are the
For research, I need you to know.
We're not going to clip his wings.
Oh, this is the questions I ask myself every time I watch a new Marvel property.
Who's the top and who's the bottom?
Yeah, who's the top?
Who's the top and who's the bottom?
There we go. I mean,
Look, that's a guy. That's a look of a bottom. And that's
Oh yeah.
the guy who takes shift is a pretend the guys or oppose the guy who dresses as shift, right? Tom, isn't that how it goes?
Exactly.
So back to Reylo, because somehow that's less weird than. Never mind.
What's a Nubian?
Tom, you, me, and Kendo need to go through all the Kevin Smith films and do commentaries. So, okay, back to this article. I've spent most of my life in fandom spaces, participating in conversations or observing and examining them, and have witnessed firsthand how objectionable fictional romances can be, especially in fandoms that appeal to and target men. Why is this the case, and why is romance a thing we use to punish women looking for escapism in genre stories? I'm going to make a video on this. I took one psychology class. I think I know what this lady's problem is, Jesse.
Yeah.
She's dumb. So it's hard to say, but it remains an endemic and undeniable strain. Shipping, which is fandom code for wanting two characters to be together, is often snickered at or seems as some frivolous element of appreciation. It can lead to shaming that feels personal and accusatory, as if you're interested in a fictional relationship is as a roadmap to your own intentional experience. This attitude towards shippers is especially present in the Star Wars fandom, where the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey is steeped in a seemingly never-ending controversy. There are fervent supporters of the romance between these characters and a plentiful convergence of opposers, and those who don't really care one way or another but still seem to criticize. Why has the Reylo ship created such a stir? Let's dig into this subset of Star Wars fandom, where it started, and why it's accumulated so much negativity, and why the Reylos don't deserve the bad reputation they've acquired, especially in the wake of the rise of Skywalker. Does anyone want to elaborate on why?
I would say, why in the fuck would she like him at all?
Exactly.
Like, what has he done for her to be like, give that guy? They say like a girl decides that they're gonna bang a guy within like the first 5 minutes of meeting them. Like the first 5 minutes of meeting him, he was stabbing his father to death. Like what?
Well, not only that, she's like whipping away Finn's hands. I mean, how obvious is that she's a Tuscan rug muncher? I mean, it's obvious.
Oh, I'm not familiar with them.
Well,
They don't leave Tatooine very often, but when they do,
Do they frighten easily?
Do they get sand in their teeth?
yes, they get sand in their teeth.
That's not sand.
Fucking space crabs.
No, the real story the Finn Rey story would have actually been good, or making Kylo, in love with Rey, but having Rey wanting anything to do with him doesn't make any sense. All he's done is blow up planets and fucking kill people and torture her.
So, in other words, she should be in love with him because he's the ultimate bad boy. Don't you understand?
Yeah, I don't know. I think murdering Han Solo was, isn't he kind of like a galaxy-wide hero at that point? Like,
yeah.
I mean, just murdering. Watching a guy murder his father, who's a hero, I think that might be even for chicks that like the bad boy. Unless she's like one of those guys that writes the Menendez brothers letters.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's that low level, like, and that's the kind of people these Reylos are. They're the kind of people who write murderers in prison letters like, will you marry me and shit?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think a girl would like a guy who maybe, like, I outran the cops on my motorcycle earlier today, but I don't know about I murdered my family.
Do you realize that like Charlie Manson would get like fucking proposals all the time in the mail?
Yeah, but that's a special kind of a psychopath.
You got married in jail.
Well, Kylo Ren is definitely a special kind of fucking psychopath.
No, I mean the women that are in love with Manson and Menendez.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like the large majority of these Reylos I'm willing to bet are women, and they're the same type of women who probably have that mental issue of like they're attracted to these kind of men because they think they can fix them, and it doesn't matter how vile they are. I have to believe that because otherwise, like you just said, Cecil, and I'm being completely serious here, why else in the world would you even want your main character, especially somebody who you project yourself into, thanks to Kathleen Kennedy's doing, want somebody like that?
So
like,
basically, we're saying Reylos are the women that write letters to Ted Bundy.
Exactly is what I'm saying.
Well,
Yeah.
Ted Bundy, I understand. What about the son of Sam? Does anybody write him letters? He was kind of.
He's slubby.
I worry about Dave. What was it, David Berkowitz?
Yeah,
Didn't he get executed pretty quickly though? I don't know.
No, he's still alive.
Oh, is he? I thought. Oh, which one did? Oh, is it? Or was it the other one that you were? Never mind.
Yeah, he's 67 years old. He's still just rotting away.
Still hasn't gotten a letter from a lady yet.
His full name is Richard David Falco. So he was the singer. Cool.
Who's that? The Night
Come
Star?
on and rock me, Amadeus.
No, David Berkowitz's real name or his full name is Richard David Falco. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Wait, no, his name's not Berkowitz.
No, it says David Richard Berkowitz, also known as the son of Sam, but then it says for full name, it goes Richard David Falco under Wikipedia.
That's somebody fucking around on Wikipedia. Get out of here.
I'll send you the picture, but they are fucking around on Wikipedia. There you go.
Somebody just put their friend's name in there as or something.
Cecil is the son of Sam.
Well, Sam was the neighbor's dog, right?
Yeah, Bundy. That was the one that got executed. That's what I thought. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was a couple of years. But yeah,
I hate my life.
Do they know it's Cecil time at all? What a great name.
do they know it's okay?
There you go, Cecil. That's what I was talking about, his name being something different. So back to this Reylo thing. I just, at the end of the day, it's an abusive relationship. I don't know why people can't see that that's what the fans look at. I'm just going to go back to this thing. I'm going to read the Reylos don't deserve the hate. You guys can disagree or agree. The knee-jerk self-defense that has drawn a lot of ire to the Reylo community in the aftermath of The Rise of Skywalker, the final film in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. On paper, the Reylos were given a lot of what they desire. Kylo Ren is redeemed and turns back into Ben Solo. Rey and Ben fight side by side and even share a kiss. But then Ben dies and Rey ends the movie alone. Something that irked some shippers. They saw the ending as a grim conclusion for Ben and a way of punishing Rey for expressing her desires. To many, the ending feels hopeless and feeds into the stereotypical notion that for a woman to be strong, she must be single, as if romantic love weakens us. I would like to say one thing. They write that shit because people say that shit.
Yeah.
You don't like that trope? Blame the people that make that shit up.
I don't need no man. Wait, where the fuck did I don't need no man come from?
That's where the woke shit, like,
that is
against fucking wokeness.
That's where the wokeness comes in. Yeah,
they gave her the woke not needing a guy, and now they're like, but women do need a guy. Womp
womp womp.
Well, then change your outfit once in a while, Ray.
Yeah, sand is not your color. So this writer from a year ago misses out that fans in romantic love, we talk about Princess Leia and Han Solo, the charged kiss between Uhura and Captain Kirk. You could go into the Wash and Zoe marriage on Firefly. There's so many different geek culture, Spider-Man and Mary Jane's marriage. People stopped reading the comic when they got rid of that shit. Romantic love is always been part of it. they fucking altered a TV show and comic book so they could tie them together and have their big wedding. Yes, marriage and love has always been a part of all of these things. But for some reason, when normalcy raises its head and goes, this is about a psycho dude who kills people, and these fans want a guy and a girl that have an abusive fighting relationship to be in love because it's weird and it's the internet. And I guess this article forgets the part where these people are crazy and threaten Adam Driver and wish his family would die so they could have their fantasy realized. Do they forget that innocent part isn't so innocent?
Well, in their defense, his family is standing in the way.
Goddamn, Cecil. I cracked a beer because you were here.
That's your own fault, Jeff.
I know. I didn't look it. You don't expect a wild Cecil to appear, but when you do, you course correct. So when Cecil appeared,
I baited him. I expected it, but I wasn't sure. I tried, and it worked.
I'm appreciative. So, is there anything else you guys want to say about Reylo?
Me though, I need a bunch of money for hookers and blow.
I can make a couple calls to Uncle Pablo Escobar, and we'll see what's up.
Sweet.
So I figured out why they why this article is making the rounds today. Nerdist tweeted this out 11 hours ago.
Oh, they were looking for attention.
Yeah, I thought it was Ichibaka finding it. No, because that's who I saw it from. I didn't realize Nerdist is like, hey, pay attention to our old crap.
Well, this type of geek reporting, who was it? One of our friends, I think it was KR Companion, posted about the Big Bang Theory effect on pop culture over on Facebook. And it really is that. The Nerdist, all of this stuff, this very nice, homogenized, slightly edgy, but still all ages appropriate. This whatever they crafted over the last decade plus, it worked. But that's where the Nerdist and stuff falls in, that very corporately produced, we're acting like we're fans, but at the end of the day, this is just a job for us type of situation. The Nerdist has always been like that to me. Are you guys fans of their publication or no?
No, they're like shill sites. They are exactly what I think of when I'm thinking of who is trying to advertise a product to me.
I can't read.
That has been proven multiple times. Well, Cecil, I'm going to bring some paperwork over and we'll talk. I got a bridge I want to bequeath to you.
Did anybody watch Big Bang Theory?
For the most part, like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
I watched the first 4 seasons, maybe.
I don't know where the fuck I was. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 episodes. No, I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, and 2 of them were the same episode. Like I caught the rerun, and then I watched it like a year later. It was the same fucking episode.
I've had that issue.
And I'm like, I've only fucking seen this show once before, and then the next time I see it, it's the same episode. So I don't know. I don't know what it was about the show. I mean, it was kind of cool to see, comic book shit talked about on a show, but I don't know. I wasn't into it.
Well, they made the nerds the butt of the joke after a while, instead of having nerdy things be the joke and things that people could get and appreciate. And then they started
turned it into Friends, yeah.
Yeah, and then it turned into Friends. Well, they started generalizing geek culture as geeks love every bit of geek culture, no matter what. And they started kind of segregating the male and the female sort of characters on the show, and then they turned it into geeks versions of Friends, where they're just talking about their relationships and apartments and.
Yeah. Once they all got girlfriends, at kind of the point went out the window. The realisticness went out the window. No way that many nerds has that many girlfriends in a cluster. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, I saw the one where the blonde chick's boyfriend was going to beat up the kid from Roseanne. What the fuck?
Oh, Johnny Galecki.
Yeah, he's in whatchamacallit.
That was an early episode, I believe.
Christmas Vacation too.
Yeah.
Him. That's the one. Mm-hmm. I saw it twice.
The show was basically decent until they got together, like till Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki got together. Then the show just turned into Friends. Because like up to that point, it was more realistic. It was about these nerds who had this hot chick that hung around them because she was basically leeching off them. It was at least more realistic at that point. And then yeah.
Cecil, since you said the magical word Christmas, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Cecil, favorite Christmas movie?
I think it might be a Christmas Vacation.
It's a good choice. Mecca?
Cousin Eddie.
Dinner was cool.
It's the gift that keeps on giving all year long.
I've watched that in the theater a couple of times now. I think I saw it originally when it came out, and then again a few years back. I love Christmas Vacation. You can't forget Scrooged. That's one of the best.
Great movie.
You can't forget. It's like I still like stupid stuff like Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, though. Watching that on Christmas, so
we watched that in art class.
and I did. What was that?
Oh, I just said we watched that in art class. I love that movie.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so corny and cheesy. It's one of these B movies. Mystery Science Theater did a version of it. It's great. But I did watch the gayest lesbian Christmas movie ever with Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis making out.
How bad was it?
It was so dumb. It was like the dumbest of the gay stereotypes. One character drags another character to a gay bar with drag queens singing Christmas carols, and it's just
what's the name of this one?
The Happiest Season. It's great. It is great. It's just like this weird, quirky comedy. Like it's a romantic comedy. You go home for the holidays. It's about the two girlfriends. They end up going home for the holidays, except there's a big twist. Oh no! And I mean,
the original title was.
I want to watch this movie.
Yeah, there's a twist. So don't watch the description if you want spoilers. But yeah,
how would you describe the attire that they were wearing?
Very, very. Well, Kristen Stewart's in it, and she just wears like sweatshirts and crap.
Was it not gay attire?
they do.
I don't care if they were happy or not, Cecil.
There is a reference. There is a reference to nice sweater from one lesbian to another, or nice jacket from one lesbian to another, implying that it's a very lesbian jacket.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I heard the original title was Christmas Pie, so I don't know.
Delicious.
It's hilarious. It's really funny. You got like Mary Steenburgen's in this. It's
She's
such an
good.
odd movie. It's like a Hallmark movie. It's one of those Hallmark Christmas movies, except it's got lesbians.
Is this one of those movies that they'll play in July?
I think so. Yeah.
Did anybody watch Fatman?
Not yet, but I want to. I got it pre-ordered on Blu-ray, but
What is that
the
one?
director of that just gave Anna a shout out on Twitter.
oh, nice.
Nice.
My favorite holiday films, though, of course, I like Die Hard. Of course,
Yes.
There's
Why you're still
always,
here, sir.
yeah, there's always the classics like you guys just mentioned. Of course, Christmas Vacation's always a favorite. Scrooged, but I can't. I'd be remiss or upset if I didn't say Gremlins, since it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I was going to pick it, but I knew you were going to pick it.
It's just it's Gremlins.
I have never seen Gremlins. Is that any good?
You're shitting me, right?
Yeah, I'm fucking with you.
I know better, Cecil. I did tell my mom about your review of Wizard of Oz, though, and she laughed.
Just show it to her.
Yeah, I've watched it.
She's not good at that, but like I had to. She's like, because she can't hear and see it. She, like, I just had to tell her. But I do a pretty good impression of you, so it works.
Now,
Can we hear that?
let's hear it. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz is just about two bitches fighting over shoes.
All right. You got it.
Hello. Oh, you didn't hear about my idea before. I've said it like 3 times. I thought you'd have heard it by now. I'm gonna make an animated series of you one of these days.
I'm very easy to animate. I barely move.
Exactly. But like the funny part of it is going to be you're going to do the intro and the outro like Christopher Lloyd used to do Back to the Future.
Right.
But he didn't do the voice on the show, but for the credit then it'll say me because I'll do the voice in the cartoon part and say because you couldn't do it because you're too drunk.
Okay.
And it'll just be an over animated version of you, but like
It'll be like Pablo Pascal and his stuntman. Like, I'm going for a cigarette break. You got this episode? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So all you gotta worry
Win.
about is just showing up for the intro and outro, and you can knock those out in a couple hours, you know.
Let's read a couple of the super chats because we're falling behind, but we got a lot of stuff to still talk about. Our friend Max Relax says, thanks for the
Hurry
show.
this up. I got shit to do.
Thank you, Max Relax. Albatross Flight says, if Trump didn't win in 2016, would pop culture be as it is now? Yes, because Ghostbusters was before Trump was the president. So, yeah, I would say yes. And The Force Awakens and all of this stuff. It would have just been, it was more what was the word they used? Gynocentric with Ghostbusters and all that bullshit. So,
Gynotastic?
Ew.
yeah,
Is that where the queef joke came from? Oh.
What?
I just need a second. Sounds good. Our friend Matt G says, it's lost its mind and allowed the MCU to pass on it in its significance. A Star Wars franchise firing on all cylinders could take anyone down. MCU, DCEU, X-Men, Trek, etc. I agree, Matt G. When Star Wars is at its peak, nothing can beat it. And it's been, I hate to say it, it's been 20 years since that's the case. Because George Lucas had that with episode 1. Then once everyone kind of saw that, Star Wars has, up until Disney's One Go, was that the most? Shit, never mind. Disney brought back The Force Awakens. It made a bunch of money, but they kept making less. So Star Wars hasn't been the big thing in decades. So you're right, Matt G. Sorry, I was just going down a mental rabbit hole myself. Our friend Matt Deckard says, for Cameron, stay golden. I will pass that on, Matt Deckard. Thank you very much. Our friend McKinney90 says, as much as I hate The Last Jedi, I have to thank Rian Johnson because if it wasn't for that film, I wouldn't have met you all and the Fandom Menace wouldn't have been created. McKinney90, thank you very much for that. And I agree. That is my takeaway. If somebody said, Jeff, you could snap your fingers and make it disappear. Nope. I love the reality we live in.
That was Rian Johnson's greatest accomplishment is creating what the Fandom Menace is now.
When we have a Fandom Menace TV
That's
show.
his legacy.
Dude, Cecil, we'll write a Fandom Menace TV show and it'll say created by Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
It's the best thing he's ever produced.
Yeah. It's better. Well, never mind. Shaka Luther King, he was a good producer too, wasn't he, Tom? He had an idea for Really?
I didn't hear half of what you said because of Mr. American Graffiti there.
No, the cast of Mad Max 2 just went rolling down the street. There goes Lord Humongous.
There's that. It works too.
I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck it. Yay, Rian Johnson, you suck. Thank you. Our friend Mark C, thank you very much for everything for all these years, Mark. He says, Trevorrow's script was much better, but nothing could save the third film. The Last Jedi backed it into a corner it was never going to get out of. We knew it. The Last Jedi defenders couldn't see it. Didn't Jeremy like The Last Jedi at first, Jesse?
He saw it 3 times before he realized it.
I love to
3 times in theaters.
I love to give Jeremy shit because he saw it 3 times in theaters. Cecil, did it take you 3 times to realize The Last Jedi was terrible?
No, I just thought, okay, I see what they're doing. They're just going to rehash the whole Luke story and hope that no one knows what the hell they're seeing. Is just a ripoff of everything that's already happened before. And I was like, this is not for me. That's all. That's all. I was like, this is not for me. It's for a new generation that has no idea about the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. This is their first. That's how I looked at it. I never went to see Last Jedi until it was on home screens. I never saw it.
Well, Ethan has bought multiple copies, and thankfully we burned all of those.
Yeah, I was there with you. We burned a few.
Yeah.
If you want to hear a gynecological story, you can share my screen. This is my. I used this on one of my live streams recently and lost a lot of. This is someone's TikTok. Do you want to hear it?
Do we?
That's a yes.
What else would it be? After I delivered my first baby and came home, I had to, have my first bowel movement, which is scary all by itself. But it was successful. And when I went to spray myself off with my peri bottle, I noticed there were jellyfish tentacles hanging out of my vagina. I tried to pull them, and it hurt really bad. So I called my doctor, and she was like,
I love that you stopped it out of
Jellyfish?
Hey, at least it's not a video of somebody pulling something out of their body, like Anna would be showing. I got to give Cecil that much. I mean, I can.
You didn't even get.
Ew.
When the way you said that, Tom, I was going to ask you who showed a video of somebody pulling something out of their ass.
Yeah, there's always popping zits and whatnot. I know. I said it on purpose to make it sound that way. You guys ever going to figure out I do that on purpose?
You don't want to know how it ends?
How does it end? No. There's an alien in her, but JJ isn't there.
Ew.
That was his silence meant yes.
This is a
Facefucker, shit.
this is a cliffhanger like Last Jedi.
Or the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Will they ever make more Star Wars? Who cares?
There's actually people in the chat like, finish it.
Finish it.
What is it? What is Rorschach? Do it!
Bowel movement would spray myself off, and this time there was a purple tennis ball hanging out of my cooch. It was my uterus. It had prolapsed. Did she tell me to come in? No. She told my husband to push it back in, but she's a doctor. What? Talking about right? Really not a problem. Then 2 days later, so 6 days post-op, I go into the bathroom, and the smell when I pulled my pants down was horrific. Like a dead animal on the side of the road when it's 100 degrees outside. Horrific. Now my doctor actually freaks out, makes me come in when she jacks me open 6 days after giving birth to fish out the jellyfish tentacles that were a huge piece of my placenta that gave me an infection.
I didn't mean to actually fit.
Wait, I saw there's a drawing of Anna. What? What's the ending? What's the fucking ending?
That was it. It went into the opening for the Jack show.
Oh God. I love that you're the Super Friends intro.
The Jack Show. Meanwhile, at the Cabinet of Booze.
I have never seen the intro to the Jack Show.
That's amazing, dude.
That's Scotty Richards' studio.
That was amazing.
He's the guy who is doing the Dirtworm Doug's comic.
Oh.
Yep.
Does he take commissions?
Sure.
Oh, I need animation.
Don't we all?
So let's keep reading some of the super chats for the listeners. Our friend Saroon of House Roundhead says, the 1 year anniversary of the Rise of Skywalker is this Saturday or Sunday night. Are you looking forward to that? Nope. I will
now.
This weekend is the anniversary of the Rise of Skywalker.
I know what you said. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch wrestling pay-per-views and drink eggnog with booze in it.
Does everybody have HBO Max?
I got it.
Yeah.
So what's Christmas Eve is the Wonder Woman, right?
Christmas
Correct.
Eve or Christmas Day, yeah.
Should be fun.
Well, you know what? Since you brought it up, it seems like Wonder Woman is in the news and it's not getting the nicest reviews. We can talk about that for a moment.
I saw that one clip. It looked like something out of the fucking Super Friends.
So, okay, Tom, explain what you're talking about.
There's this clip where she saves this kid in the mall, and the bad guys look like something out of a bad 80s cartoon. Like, it's not even like...
The mustache guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think.
There was the other scene where she was, I don't know if it was real or not. It looked so fake and unfinished, but she's running out of the truck while Chris Pine is driving towards a bunch of bad guys. She leaps out of the speeding truck, and she practically has him hold her purse while she goes and save the day. You know, she lassos a bullet that he can magically see. Oh, it was weird. It's weird. This is going to be
Anna.
people, I think.
Anna's in the chat. Hi. Yeah, I haven't seen much. I really don't know anything about this movie except it's set in the 80s, obviously, and I think the villain is Pablo Pascal, and then but also I'm blanking on her name, the tiger lady. Fuck, what's her name?
Kristen Wiig is on there. Cheetah.
Yeah, Cheetah. Thank you. I'm not excited for it, really. I mean, I'm glad I could just sit at home and watch it. I would never in a million years go to a theater to watch it. So, yeah,
I'm unimpressed by what I've seen so far. I mean, I know the basic plot from the leaks. It kind of goes back to that whole Orange Man bad thing. It'd be one thing, like you were saying, Jeff, if they were kind of doing the generic thing with the whole like Trump type deal. It's just the fact of when this movie was made and we kind of know the push they've got behind it. I hope it's not bad, and I hope that's the least of the movie's problems, or the most, I mean, not the least. But we know it's the least of the problems. That's what I was trying to say. Like, we've seen all the special effects so far. We've seen what Cheetah looks like. There is some bad stuff in this movie that obviously they haven't fixed at all. So, and I think they were planning on doing some reshoots that never happened. And I think we're just going to get whatever it was that was going to get released. So,
have they shown Kristen Wiig as Cheetah?
Yeah, she looks like shit.
Oh, really?
It looks like a card. Yeah, it's all animated and shit. It was like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, Mecca, they released a scene of those two fighting for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And she like comes and swings around and it looks really animated and bad. And it's like, there was another couple shots people were finding in the trailers and stuff. They're like, well, we hope they fix this before the movie's done. I'm like, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, they probably, I don't know. Okay, Jesse says, what's up with this cheap ass CGI? You got to think, I don't know exactly what the timetable is on a lot of these rendering farms for these movies, but you hear a lot of stories where these big budgeted films are finished right before they're out, right before they launch in theaters. So I wonder if this was a situation where they had, looked at this year and they bet, was it worth to release Wonder Woman unfinished because it would cost too much or whatever. So I wonder if that's the case with this, where they basically have to cut some corners to make Wonder Woman kind of profitable. And that's going to suck if that is what happens, because with more and more shows and movies coming out in these genre from these genre brands, if they're going to cut corners at the top at DC, what's going to stop them from cutting corners at Marvel and Star Wars? Are we going to get subpar, shitty looking shows because they're poor?
Wouldn't it be great if the way they cut corners is the invisible jet is just like her and Chris Pine on like folding chairs?
Clearly with like a TV screen behind them moving.
Just pretending that they're flying.
You can see the guy of the grip fucking shaking like or whatever. Anyway, no, like people are saying in the chat, like, yeah, she looks just like something out of the Cats movie. Like, I can't believe they let that go.
I've been following this one since last year because you remember the leaks? They apparently leaked the entire plot, and so I read that on air and I was like, "This sounds terrible." So
I don't think they got a chance to fix it either. That was the report we had heard too, and that was just prior to the, shutdown. So like, knew they had to fix it. It had a terrible test screening, and I don't think they finished what they had. So I think a lot of the effects are only like that next generation done. And I think that instead of spending any more money on it or trying to worry about fixing it, they kind of knew that this was going to happen, and they were just kind of waiting to see. And if it all has to do with HBO Max now. I really don't see them putting any more money or time into it at this point.
Well, what's the deal with the Snyder Cut possibly getting a theatrical release or some bullshit I saw in the news today?
Can you say that like Jerry Seinfeld?
What's the deal with the Snyder Cut tonight?
What's the deal? What's the deal with the Snyder Cut?
It's probably prestige. It's for both Snyder and just so they can,
Yeah, this comes from Entertainment Weekly, so this isn't some we got this covered garbage. Exclusive. Zack Snyder's Justice League might get an R-rated theatrical release. What is this Snyder Cut supposed to be? I mean, that's a rhetorical question, folks. I'm not stupid. I understand what the Snyder Cut actually is. but we were told we're gonna finish the film. We're gonna give Zach his chance to finish his vision. It's gonna be on HBO Max.
I heard
4 1-hour episodes.
The movie is like the movie is like beefier, it's longer, and it's uncut.
Well, bigger is always better, Cecil. So from that point of view, I get
it's
it.
like a uncircumcised.
It is. No one told me that.
Well, it's a live emission, Cecil. Just enjoy it. Our friend Swinging Cod, I had to put this super chat on screen and read this because it's topical. He says, home is the best place to watch a Wonder Woman movie. A big bowl of popcorn, a family-sized bottle of Jergens, and tissues. Fun for the whole family.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Swinging Cod. Thank you.
You do you. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey,
He's dreaming of a white Christmas.
just like the ones I used to know.
It was a ghost. It's a ghost. You see it? It's slimy. It's ectoplasm. It's a ghost.
You keep telling yourself that. So I don't really have a desire to see Wonder Woman 84 fail. I don't have a desire to really see the film in the first place because Wonder Woman was good enough. It came, it went, it was fine. She works in... Gal Gadot is great. I like her. I have really no complaints about her. And I don't really have complaints about Wonder Woman. I just don't love it. I like it, if that makes sense. It's good enough. I'm happy with what it was. But to me, it didn't lend itself to countless adventures. And you're thinking, Jeff, this is a serialized comic book character. Wonder Woman has hundreds of thousands of issues. Of course she's going to have countless great stories. Yeah, but the way DC has been doing it lately, they don't really set themselves up for long-term success. It's like we get this one movie, maybe two, and then a bunch of fuckery, and then we have a new Batman. So I don't put my faith in this shit with DC anymore. They'll never follow through and tell me the complete story. I'm going to be left with my dick in my hand the whole time.
Like Swing Cod.
Yeah. You know what? He's in good company. World-class company. So let's see. Is there anything else really to talk about from the HBO, or sorry, the Tom, is there any of the streaming stuff that you wanted to cover tonight, or we're missing any of the points?
No, I know we got some super chats to go through. I mean, I think we pretty much hit it all on the head as already. We've said it all that can be said, and blah 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 blah. No, I mean, really, it's the only thing I think is funny is you got guys like John Campy and stuff out there going, "Oh, Disney just thrashed, Warner Brothers or whatever it was with their announcements." It's like, did they? Did they really? It's like, no, I think it's the other way around. If you call anything that Disney did any kind of mic drop, well, then what Warner did was a fucking nuke drop. I mean, they just ended the entire streaming wars in one fell swoop if this actually gets to go through. Now, you have the other side of it where you'll have a lot of pissed off parties. You have people threatening lawsuits, but I'm just curious how many of those lawsuits will actually go through and how many movies will actually be stopped from being on HBO Max. I think really as long as they can pull this off, they've kind of got the upper hand on Disney right now because Disney doesn't really have anything in that announcement that to me stuck out that really, I mean, on the level of something like Dune and Godzilla and even Wonder Woman for that matter. I mean, even if you put even if they were to say, oh, we're putting Black Widow on Disney Plus, which they didn't yet, they're still saying it's going to theaters. But even if they did that, I don't think that would have been as big of an announcement as HBO pulled off. Because to me, Wonder Woman's a hotter property right now.
As a fan who has access to all of this shit, the Marvel stuff has a couple interesting bites. Loki's trailer was interesting. I like the setup that they did where he's kind of trapped in that complex, that prison.
Yeah.
The WandaVision stuff, I'm exactly in the same place as I was before. And
I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange. I forgot to bring that up.
Oh, dude, that is the one that I think is going to be classic because I love the MCU and what it represents, but there are a lot of forgettable films. For every truly great one, there's not trash, but there's something forgettable like an Iron Man 2. So I'm looking forward to like that next piece of greatness. That's what I'm really hoping.
How many of them do you actually rewatch?
Maybe 4 or 5.
I actually do quite a few. But...
Winter Soldier, I do.
Same.
Believe it or not, that's Thor 3, which I didn't really love, but it is rewatchable.
Yeah, that's one I've watched quite a bit.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of course, yeah.
And trying to think.
I watched Captain America, the first one, quite a bit.
That's
I've seen
so,
it a few times.
To answer your question, Cecil, I rewatch 5 MCU films regularly. It's the Avengers, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America's Winter Soldier and Civil War, and then the first Iron Man. Other than that, I like a chunk of everything, most of everything else, but I love those ones, and those are the ones I want to rewatch. A lot.
yeah, I would go with Guardians, Thor 3, and Winter Soldier is the only ones I really rewatch.
Let me put it this way. The only ones that I haven't seen multiple times are basically like Black Panther, I've only seen twice. Captain Marvel, I've only seen once.
Same.
I haven't seen it.
And this last Spider-Man movie I've only seen, I think, once or twice. I can't remember. But yeah, like outside of that, I've seen all of them multiple times, and a lot of the ones you guys brought up, I've watched many times. Even Endgame, I've watched a couple times. So,
Hey Mecca, what about you? Any other rewatch in the MCU?
For like rewatch, I'm trying to think which ones. I know I saw like Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, twice. But I want to watch Doctor Strange again. That's the one I really, really want to watch again. I think Thor Ragnarok is going to be pretty rewatchable too. Because that one, I'm like, if that were on, I probably wouldn't turn it off. But I just never have time to rewatch anything.
I've been trying to find new stuff to watch. We went through, even though it's not new, for the holidays, we went through Home Alone 1 and 2. So those were fun. One day, I'll never venture into Home Alone 4. That movie looks terrible.
1 and 2 is all you need.
Now, yes, folks in the chat, I do agree John Campea is a chill. I don't have anything nice to say. But I want to ask the three of you before we slow this show down. To answer the age-old debate, Cecil, I would like you to go first. Now you are ex facto our special guest. Who was a better Wonder Woman, Linda Carter or Gal Gadot?
I mean, did you ever watch the old show? It's pretty goddamn unwatchable, but Linda Carter is hot as fuck. Yeah, they're both good looking.
Just answer. Who do you think's hotter, dude? That's the real question. Who's hotter of the two?
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Could you imagine if one of them is listening? And probably both of them are.
I could imagine Linda Carter is a fan. We've had nothing but nice things to say about her.
I'll say Linda Carter.
I'm going to side with Cecil. I'm a classics guy. As beautiful as Gal Gadot is, or Gadot, however you say her name, Linda Carter is just that classic beauty that just. I mean, she was the character for more time than anybody at this point.
Yep. She probably will have the longest tenure as a superhero ever, because people go, well, she's only in the 70s for 3 or 4 seasons, but nobody else played her for decades and decades and decades and decades. So
wasn't she in that CW crossover as well, though, as Wonder Woman?
I think she was, and isn't she in the new Wonder Woman film?
She does have at least a cameo. I know that. Yeah.
She's one of those actresses that no one really has anything bad to say about her because she just seems like a nice person and loves being Wonder Woman. She doesn't go. I bet you she's the type of person if you walk up to her on the street, like, oh my god, it's Wonder Woman. She'd be smiling and saying, "Hey, thanks" or whatever. Not, no, I'm Linda Carter. You should know me for my other roles, such as.
No, I think she's always been pretty proud of it,
and rightly so. I love people that embrace what they're most known for. Not, they get all.
Well, not only that, you got to think about when she was Wonder Woman. I mean, yeah, now they're all this virtue signaling bullshit. Linda Carter was Wonder Woman when it fucking mattered, when true feminism was making a charge, into the real world of not just movies and television, but like everywhere. So yeah, I think she has a little bit more of a historical value.
Yeah. She was a Wonder Woman. She was so.
Here comes the historical value right now.
Hey, as cheesy as it is, man. I mean, shit.
That cape.
We say that now, Cecil, and then when we see Wonder Woman fucking 84 in 10 days, we're gonna be saying, you know what? This isn't as cheesy as we thought.
So I want to see in another universe the crossover between the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman. Those TV shows. Right. That would have been so fun. I know Marvel DC couldn't cross over. I get the logistics behind it all, folks. I just, in another world, it's like, yeah, Lou Ferrigno versus Linda Carter. Instead of Billie Jean King and that guy that she played on the tennis court, that'd be the real battle of the sexes. The Hulk versus Wonder Woman.
Hey, I've got the Linda Carter series on Blu-ray. So,
Ooh, how's it look? Pretty good.
pretty good. Not horrible.
So let's see. Our friend Sergeant Politeness, thank you very much for your super generous super chat. He says Hasbro sells 28,000 Razor Crest and then blows up the Razor Crest. I have zero faith in Disney. Also, if anybody wants to buy a vintage collection Razor Crest, get at me. Officially done with Disney. Sergeant Politeness, thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Yeah, I just thought that was ironic.
That is something I wanted to make a video on, and I keep forgetting to because we have about 4 other things in production. So I'll be on the lookout. But Sergeant Politeness, so this year I was on the fence. Was I going to get the Sentinel or was I going to get the Razor Crest? And it's not that I skipped on the Sentinel knowing the Razor Crest was going to be a thing, but with these HasLab investments, these $350 action figure investments, people are thinking, wow, it's crazy that people are buying this shit. Yeah, it's a collector's mentality. Long story short, I had thought about the Razor Crest. I like the Mandalorian. I enjoy what the character represents, and I think he looks great, and Baby Yoda's fine and all this shit. I'm really not negative on the show. But at the end of the day, I thought, I can't allow myself to give that much money to Hasbro and Disney because Disney owns Star Wars. So I pulled myself back. But it was hugely successful. I think 28,000 people, said Sergeant Politeness, 28,000 backers at $350 a piece. That's ridiculous money. Long story short, the next week they blow up the ship. Yeah. I think it's really ironic that they raise all this money and all the fans are on board, and then Disney's like, hey, fuck them. And then they blow up the ship. They knew. And don't anybody tell me, oh, they didn't know. Licensors know. They know what's going to go into production a good chunk of time beforehand. And the Razor Crest, they knew the success of the first season of The Mandalorian. That first Mandalorian figure last year sold out instantly. That shit was going for $100. We have a video on it from last year. So they knew, and Disney still did it. So I understand the anger, Sergeant Politeness. I get the anger across the board with Star Wars, but as a collector and somebody that wanted to buy this shit, I'd be fucking livid because I don't want shit of characters that are dead or that have, ships that have blown up. I don't sit and buy, what's a good example of that? I don't go on and get more Lars Homestead toys because it blew up in the movie. It's like, whatever. I don't pick up stuff from when Han Solo's been dead or Luke Skywalker's an old man. I want the certain version, and Disney took that away from these fans. So,
what about your Bob the Goon figure? He got shot.
Bob the Goon was missing a leg, so he was not one of my favorite action figures.
That was one of the easiest. I bet you can buy 10 Bob the Goons right now on eBay.
He was the Rose Tico of his day.
He was like you could get all of them for $1.
There's a difference though. Bob the Goon is now worth a lot of money.
Is he really? I figured he'd be.
Dude, in the box, a Bob the Goon on some website goes for $78, and another one sells it for $68.81.
Really? Wow. In the box, though. What about out of the box?
Let's see. On Amazon, you can get a Bob the Goon action figure for a whopping $48.50. Shit. Okay, so the figure's worth like $50.
I am surprised. That is wow. Because they overproduced that. Because I remember when I was a kid, that was the thing. You couldn't get your hands on a Batman, couldn't get a fucking Joker, but every store had 1 million Bob the Goons.
Yeah, because that was the old Toy Biz Batman line.
Yeah.
You knew that, folks out there that don't know, Batman was one of the only movies to have a toy line from 2 separate companies year after year. So it started off with Toy Biz, and this is the one that Tom's talking about. And then Kenner followed suit and made great Batman toys. But yeah, there's Bob the Goon. I don't even know what the fuck he's
supposed to be. The ones I had. Yeah. I had to wait forever for Joker.
I always thought he had a brown costume for some reason.
No, it was black. They had like one later where they gave him like a copper one in the Dark Knight Legends series or whatever it was. But I believe it was even the same mold that Toy Biz used, if I'm not mistaken, when they did the Kenner ones, or it was pretty close. Or no, the Kenner one, I think they just repurposed their it was actually the other way around. I think that Toy Biz repurposed the old superhero lines mold, and then yeah.
Yep.
There. Yeah.
Because that's what that Batman body's built off of, the old Kenner one. And they sculpted over top of it.
Superpowers?
Yeah, a lot of this Toy Biz shit's just stolen from
Superpowers, that's what it is, yeah.
So, let's see. Cecil, what did you have to share? Is this more Wonder Woman stuff?
No, this is the best 15. The best Hulk fight in the entire series.
Fuck yes.
He's fighting a bear.
Hulk fighting a bear. Universal's going to kill us, but that's awesome.
Oh, no, the bear, Hulk. What? Okay, I can't like Hulk anymore. He abuses animals.
I think
Whatever.
You might get away with that. That was 10 seconds, under 10 seconds.
No, I got that.
Said they had no budget.
It was a classic. Sarun of House Roundhead says, I'm thinking and hoping that Kathleen Kennedy has lost creative control of Star Wars and she's just a figurehead now. I think Favreau and Filoni have creative control. It's weird to think Kathleen Kennedy would be considered a figurehead because they think that fans want her, or they think that people look to her as this strong leader of Star Wars. Lady, no. So Sarun of House Roundhead, I'm gonna guess she's still in control, just doing other shit.
She's the epitome of white privilege. She made her way on a Jewish guy who is one of the greatest directors of all time, and she's been coasting on that ever since. She got a gift handed to her, and instead of doing the right by the fans, she's like, you know what? I'm going to inject my fucking politics in here because I have not had enough white privilege already in my life.
Wait a minute. Wait, she worked with Lloyd Kaufman?
Yeah, many years.
Wow.
The Lloyd Kaufman.
Our friend Crispy Critters, thank you very much. He says, going to throw a penalty flag on this one. Kennedy isn't going to let her Star Wars legacy. She's damaged goods, but but her and her ilk are still in the game and will be for some time.
Cecil's right, though. If it wasn't for her Toxic Avenger, it would have been nothing.
That's true. That and Back to the Future are two greatest achievements. I didn't say that.
I was kidding about the first one, but Back to the Future, yeah. That's the thing. But it's Spielberg. It's all fucking Spielberg. Because look, once she does something, when she's in control, like Jurassic Park 3, how it goes completely fucking wrong, and you have a director who basically decides, fuck this, I'm not coming back to the industry anymore, practically. And I don't think he directed a movie since then until Captain America, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe one in between there, but I'm trying to think. I'm talking about Joe Johnston, of course, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Crispy Critters, though, to jump to your point, I know she's damaged goods, but it sucks to say it. She just has, credit with the right people. So she's not, if anything, she'll just get her golden parachute. I don't think she'll have as much creative say on Star Wars anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if the powers that be that are above her, like, hey, pull it back. And give her, they just tell her straight up, like, you have this much freedom before we're going to pull it back and tell you what you can and can't make.
We forget, though. Sorry, Jeff.
Go ahead. We forget the what?
She's the most powerful woman in Hollywood, period.
She's Oprah?
She's in Hollywood. She is Oprah. Yeah.
I know. Our friend Up the Ass Franklin, great screen name, says, I'm not sure what I should do with my channel. Please guide me. Who's Cameron and Thomas? Are they like Bill and Ted? If not, they should be. More of them. Now, Cecil, you're the perfect guy to help a listener named Up the Ass Franklin. Craft a channel.
You're the perfect guy.
What'd you say?
What do you want me to do? I'm going to help somebody with their YouTube channel.
Yeah, his channel name is Up the
Does
Ass.
he want
Franklin.
diet advice also?
Yeah, Up the Ass Franklin wants every piece of advice.
I'll help him with his YouTube channel. I'll get him to quit drinking, and I'll help him lose weight.
Yeah,
I'm your guy.
You might just be a turtle, but apparently you're a fat alcoholic turtle who's going to get help from Cecil. So you're welcome.
And 10 days into that, it's do as I say, don't do as I do.
What? See what I'm doing? Don't do that.
Yeah, don't be like me.
Don't do that.
That should be his channel. His channel should be trying to be like Cecil.
Your channel should be trying to be like Cecil, says Jesse Up the Ass Franklin. There's your shtick. You try to be like Cecil.
Learn from him, like watching all the Cecil videos, like watching shit Cecil says. And
Yeah.
Like, all right, I gotta drink more.
Cecil is your new Yoda.
I gotta fuck bitches. Exactly.
You listen to everything Cecil has done, and all joking aside, Up the Ass Franklin, popping up like this, people will know the name. So eventually they'll start coming to a channel called Up the Ass Franklin. So
Yeah, there you go.
hang out with us.
My first thing would say the name's a problem, but never know. It might not be a problem.
No.
Hey, I had people tell me that our channel name was a problem. They never let their kids listen. Well, I don't care what their kids listen to. We clearly grew.
Would you ever think a guy whose name was Doomcock was? Yeah, the names, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Our friend the Gray Ghost says the biggest subconscious hurdle in the back of so many former fans' minds is the immense excitement, then the subsequent heartbreaking knowing they blew their one chance to reunite Mark, Carrie, and Harrison. That's J.J. Abrams' biggest mistake.
And Kathleen Kennedy.
And Kathleen Kennedy.
Realistically, it's her fucking fault.
They didn't think about what
we're not about the past, we're about the future.
I would tell those people, then don't put Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker in your movie. Just don't. But
Brittany alone.
Yes, Chris Crocker, leave Brittany alone. But Grey Ghost, that is in the back of all of our minds. And I think besides it being in the back of our minds and having, a place in your heart a little broken, I think there's a little anger, and certain people are just like, fuck you, and we're not going to watch your stuff because of that. And they have that right. I like that sense of resentment towards
there should be a resentment towards it. It was a colossal fuck up, and it was a fuck you to the fans. It's always a fuck you to the fans.
The fans love you, though. They compared you to the Iron Sheik, Cecil.
That's because I'll put you in the camel clutch and fuck your ass.
Is anyone humbled after Cecil fucks him? Yeah. It's a life-changing experience.
No answers. No answers.
No answers.
So, yeah.
So Mikey Gussler, thank you very much. He says, Tom, will they release Lord of the Rings Blu-ray box set with each film having the third cut next year for its 20th anniversary?
I don't know about a third cut, but I have heard that they are doing a big old box set full of more special features and stuff like that down the road. So keep that in mind. But I've not heard anything about a third cut. I doubt that, because these extended cuts are basically Peter Jackson's director's cuts. So,
well, all this news has told me is to hold off on getting Lord of the Rings for this TV. So, Jesse, we're going to wait for the deluxe box set.
I always wait for the deluxe ship.
I mean, if you can find it for on like just before Christmas, if it goes on sale, because I think I got it for like 70, but I've seen it for like 90 most of the time now. I'm just the Lord of the Rings trilogy, not Hobbit.
This is theatrical, though, right? Not all.
It's got both versions, but that's it. It's just the movies. There's no special features whatsoever. But that's the thing, is there's supposed to be some big Uber box set with all 6 movies, all the old special features carried over, and then a few new things, because that's how Peter Jackson does shit.
Now, Tom, are they finally able to put Lord of the Rings on one disc?
Yes, I think they are.
Cool, because
I think it's one. Yeah, because I think there's one disc for the theatrical version and then one disc for the extended cuts. I don't quote me on it, but I'd have to look for sure. But I think they're all on one disc now each.
It'd be nice. I hate switching discs for any movie. It's not even like a Lord of the Rings thing. Remember back in the day, Titanic, you'd be watching the tape, flip it over, or not flip it over. Shit, that's Laserdisc technology. You had to put in a new tape. That movie sucked. Why did I have it? Honestly, the reason I had it is I think she showed her boobs and I would watch it as a kid. I was like, all right, whatever, it's Titanic.
The only one I could see being long enough to where they would have to split it up would be the last one. But
I'm not gonna lie, I've actually never finished that movie, so do not tell me how it ends.
What, Titanic?
Yeah.
Don't Google it because it's everywhere. They've been writing books about it for a while. It's a really popular ending, dude. It's a great twist. You'll never see it coming. Neither did they. Infinity Hand says, to be fair, Durge only died in the EU, which apparently isn't canon anymore. He'd bring a lot more to the villain roster with how unconventional he is. Infinity Hand, you sold me earlier about Durge. I liked the character and how he can have those weird tendril things. It would be nice to have a Star Wars character that's thoroughly intimidating. Not since Darth Vader have we had one that brings fear through multiple films or multiple anything. I mean, Darth Maul's kind of cool, a little scary, but then he gets cut in half. The rest of the prequel bad guys, not intimidating. And Kylo Ren, I'm not even going to humor the idea that he's intimidating. So Durge is cool. Durge is a physical threat. I think Star Wars could benefit from having like a physical imposing threat again. It's been a while, and it's not out of the realm of possibility.
He has pendulous things?
He has pendulous things. I'll pull up a picture for you, Cecil.
I'm listening.
There you go. Well,
you had me at pendulous.
Pendulous. Durge is just like I don't want to call him RoboCop for Star Wars because he's nothing like RoboCop in terms of
he's like RoboCop for Star Wars. Got it.
But he looks like RoboCop for Star Wars, and that's why he's cool. There we go. There's Durge. See, folks, there is a life for Star Wars where it's not.
Better alive. May the force be with you.
Our friend Dean Hopesoffel, thank you, Dean. He says thoughts on the woke cyclone. Thoughts on the woke cyclone in the Black Adam movie. Dean, I've been seeing the rumblings of that. I will give you the same answer I give for Black Adam in general. I love The Rock. I have no interest in this film, and I don't think it's going to be a big hit just because he's attached. The Rock has thrown his hat in the ring on a bad character. Yeah, you produce Shazam. That's cool. And Black Adam is not a bad character, but just because you're you doesn't mean it's going to be a huge hit. So The Rock does make flops every once in a while, and superhero properties, you need to have something recognizable and iconic to expect a $1 billion box office. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this movie and go, it underperformed, it did this, it did that, and Black Adam. Plus, we've been spending 5 years hearing about how great The Rock as Black Adam is going to be. And again, coming from his number one fan, it's not going to be that great. We've seen The Rock act at his peak. He's not very versatile. He's The Rock in everything. So it's going to be The Rock with a hairpiece and long ears and a black suit. And I don't think the wokeness is going to hurt this movie. I think the movie itself existing is going to hurt this movie. JNat, thank you very much. He says, Tom DL'd 4K fan restore. It's great. HF good too.
Wait, what's the new chick's name? That's not a chick. She's a binary.
Elliot Page?
Yeah, that's it. No, the in the Black Adam movie.
Oh, the Cyclone. I don't even know the actors. I've just heard people talk about it.
I think she has an A at the front of her name, which indicates female. So she should put an X there. What do you think about that?
You can if you
want. It doesn't matter what you think about that, you jabroni.
Yes. See, so that's why you're my favorite person to have on the show. You understand all facets of what we represent here on the channel. Matt Decker, thank you very much. He says, why do my woke friends hate Wonder Woman yet love Captain What's-Her-Name? I don't know anyone that loves Captain What's-Her-Name. Cecil, do you love Captain What's-Her-Name?
Which one's that?
Captain Twat-Waffle.
Captain Twat-Waffle.
Is that Captain Marvel?
That's Captain Marvel.
People?
I have not seen it yet.
Mecha.
I don't care. She repulses me, that chick.
I'm not a fan either. Aren't you glad that they're making Captain Marvel 2 and she's coming back? Yay.
They've got to throw in the Monica Rambeau from what's it, WandaVision, and Ms. Marvel from Ms. Marvel.
I'll only watch it if Monica Rambeau is played by Sylvester Stallone.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Hey, I'm gonna be Captain Marvel too.
You know, I could be just as marvelous as you. And by the way, Jeff, I just looked to make sure the theatrical versions are on one disc, but the extended cuts are 2 discs. So,
darn!
Sorry,
I'll never get to watch Lord of the Rings in just one sitting.
Well, they do come with a digital version you can watch in one sitting, I guess. So there you go.
Oh shit, that'd be cool.
Won't be quite as good visually,
Yeah.
but close enough.
So we also have our friend Swinging Cod who says, I heard someone here wanted to watch Black Christmas. Okay, we did read that one. But again, I will say RIP Brandon Moist. Thank you again, Swinging Cod. Ted Brogan says, happy anniversary, gang. Y'all have been wonderful in creating this movement. I'm sad Ryan Johnson hasn't started his trilogy and surprised it wasn't part of the 36 new developments announced.
54.
That's so crazy. Wasn't their edict we want to have one show a week forever? Like, the way it cycles.
They're going to be basically dropping like one new thing a week. Yeah, like one big new thing a week is that's like over that, more than that actually.
That'll be 2 weeks with 2 things.
That's good.
Yeah.
At least if you're getting content, if you're paying for that shit.
This is
Now,
right after Bob says we're going for quality over quantity, and then yeah.
Nah, just keep shoveling that shit towards me. Something in there will be good.
Pretty much.
No, thank you.
How many times can I watch The Black Hole on Disney Plus?
Never enough.
It's really kind of a freaky movie.
I need to watch it.
Never saw it?
No.
They got Roger Rabbit in 4K on there too.
I watched that already.
Norman Bates is in it. He gets killed. Well,
Yeah, it's got a good cast.
Our friend Flavio Andrade, thank you very much. He says, the major achievement for Star Wars fans is that Rian Johnson and his trilogy were thrown under the bus. Do you think they will erase the Disney sequel trilogy and reboot using The Mandalorian to set up the Lucas's original script? Flavio, I think it would be a wonderful idea, but I think it's a pipe dream. Where my point is, why would they? I would love for these things to happen, but I always ask the question, why would Disney do those things? And if they're willing to tank a franchise to spite us already, why are they going to try to about face because they didn't want us? If that makes sense. Like they burned the bridge intentionally, and they're not going to look back because it would show them making a correction, which would mean they made a mistake in the first place. And these people with all this power, these rights holders, these IP holders, they don't want to show any sort of vulnerability. So I would love if they got rid of the sequel trilogy, but realistically, I just couldn't see it happening.
Not directly, no, I don't think.
Our friend Taker610 says, anybody watch Doomcock's video on the J.J. Abrams episode 8?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, yeah.
Our friend Diego Flores, thank you very much. He says, had a thought. What if Hayden is brought back because when Vader is dreaming in the pod, he's having a conversation with Anakin, the light trying to bring Vader back? That's a pretty cool concept. But I would ask you, Diego, what purpose does that have in an Obi-Wan show? Because the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi on the planet isn't about Darth Vader coming to find him. Like, he doesn't know Luke's out there. He doesn't know he has this son. He doesn't know these things. And I wish that the film, the people that make these shows knew the story, because they would know that's not how it goes.
Jeff, may I say something quickly?
Yeah,
Jay Nat in the chat said, I tried to thank Tom for his advice, but Cecil pissed all over my super chat. So Jay Nat was trying to thank you, Tom, and I pissed all over.
You're welcome. And yeah, I think that was the one I think about, the 4K Star Wars one.
Oh, okay. Our friend Jack White says, I saw an article that Netflix is doing live-action Yu Yu Hakusho series woke adaptation incoming. Jesse, you ready to watch our live-action favorite anime show? Yu Yu Hakusho, here we come. Live-action, anything is an adaptation of anime or manga, I'm going to pass on. But, Jack White, I did notice that Lupin the Third just got the new movie just came out digitally, and it doesn't come out next year or until next year on Blu-ray. But if I can rent it, I'm thinking about paying. I'll pay for it no matter what because it's Lupin the Third. But I'm really excited because it looks like a fantastic movie. So, folks, if you're looking for something fun, check out the new Lupin the Third movie. It should be in English. That's the only way I'll recommend it. If it's dubbed, viewer discretion is advised.
It's live action?
There was a live action one 2 years ago, but this is a new CGI Pixar level film. It looks really good. So if you're looking for something fun, and if you know what Lupin the Third is, I'm super pumped.
The only anime I've ever watched the full thing is Cowboy Bebop. And then somebody said, oh, that's the best one. So I never watched any other. I was like,
I agree. Cowboy Bebop is up there, and Cowboy Bebop is influenced by Lupin the Third. So if you're like me and you like to see where a show comes from, well, check out Lupin if you like Cowboy Bebop.
All right.
Now, our friend Adam Wofford says, WCBS in the morning brings you the best today's top 20 music, helping you with your drive to work. Don't forget about the contest to win a date with DC with Doomcock. You know what, Tom? I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and read that with your announcer voice, and I'll read it with my announcer voice, and then Cecil and Mecca, because we're about to end the show, but this will be a fun little
in the private chat or something.
What we're about to do right now.
Okay, cool.
So here we go, folks. There you go. Tom, with your announcer voice, if you will.
You want the radio announcer voice?
Yes.
WCBS in the morning brings you the hot top 20 music, helping you with your drive to work. Don't forget about the contest to win a date with the one, the only Doomcock.
Ooh, that's going to be hard to follow, Cecil.
WCBS in the mornings bring you the best today's top 20 music, helping you with your drive to work. And don't forget about the contest to win a date with Doomcock.
Nice. Mecca?
Has Doomcock signed off on this?
The date, I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. I didn't make the contest.
Harvey's in, but I don't know about Doomcock.
It's a 2-for-1 deal, I guess. Shit. Anything for the fans.
Harvey's like, anything, just let me out.
All right, I'll try. I don't have a radio voice, do I?
I'll make one up.
WCBS in the mornings bring you the best hot today's top 20 music, helping you with your drive to work. Don't forget about the contest to win a date with DC.
And then finally, I'll close out with WCBS in the morning brings you the best hot today's top 20 music, helping you with your drive to work. Don't forget about the contest to win a date with Doomcock. Thank you, Adam Mofford, for that fun super chat. Our friend Voorhees67 is back. We're getting a lot of people we haven't heard from in a while. He says, hey, guys, I heard about Dirty Deeds and I was summoned. By the way, long time no see. Who are these people? Well, Voorhees67, you just got struck by lightning because you've been in a grave for a while. So this is Tom, Mecca, and Cecil. They all say hello.
Hello.
Who are these people?
Our friend Ted Brogan says, I'm with Cecil on this. It's terrible, but makes sense if you factor Lucasfilm into it. So we did read that one earlier, but thank you, Ted Brogan. Rin Weasley says, who had the worst game launch? Cyberpunk 2077 or Fallout 76?
Fallout. I think
Fallout. Because Mecca, if you remember the Fallout launch, they even fucked up with the pre-order bonuses. Remember that bag they were supposed to give was a cheap, like everything was bullshit.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Jr. 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
I don't know. No, Mecca's probably right on that one. Yeah.
Our friend Mexi Man and Cheese, thank you very much for your super chats. He says, Cecil is right. Long live the fandom. And Mexi Man and Cheese also did say that Adam Driver had a 1920s strongman chest. So our friend Diego Flores wanted to correct us. Thank you very much. He says, Jeff, I'm Peruvian. Oscar Isaac is Guatemalan. Yes, we do have a barrel chest, but Adam Driver is a red-blooded American. Thank you very much, Diego Flores, for letting me...
like part Cherokee or something like that?
Who, Adam Driver? Maybe. I knew he was in the military, and so I respect him for that.
Reason, I could be totally fucking wrong, but I swear there was an interview where he was talking about his military background and stuff, and yeah, like he has like a little Cherokee heritage or something like that. I could be wrong though, and mixing him up with somebody else, but
he has a wide grill like a Cherokee.
Mm.
The Jeep I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's of course what you're talking about. I drive a Jeep. I know what's up. Ted Brogan says, Yanzi loves Adam Driver. Explain Cecil and McCod. I don't know what that means. Yanzi loves Adam Driver. Explain Cecil and McCod.
Yanzi is Shane Davis's wife. She loves it. Yeah, she's a Reylo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she is. She says she doesn't care. She don't care what you're going to say about it. She's a Reylo.
Hey.
That's all I know. I next time I talk to her, I'll delve into that. I'll delve into the mind of a Reylo. See if she writes any serial killers.
Cecil, if anyone in the community could be the next Barbara Walters, it would be you.
Yeah. Instead of talking with every time. Never mind.
The rural juror.
If you could be a twee.
Yes. Sweet Cod says, I can't hate too much on Driver. He was great in Logan Lucky. I agree with that one. And already suffered enough doing sex scenes with Lena Dunham.
Oh,
jealous though.
Ooh.
Based on your points, Swinging Cod, I think Adam Driver deserves, just nothing but respect. You had to fake sex with Lena Dunham. Pretty gross. Ted Brogan, again, thank you very much. He says, is Tom saying that Kylo is the Ted Bundy of Star Wars?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Our friend Matt G says, this Baby Yoda is Rey thing might kill the Reylos. So that sounds like something, Jesse, that you and Anna are going to talk about on the Matriarchy tomorrow. All the Reylo stuff, right?
God, Jesus Christ. Show me this article. We'll have to
get Yanzi on there. You could guys grill her. That would be a great episode. Grilling a Reylo.
Yeah, well, if you can get her to agree to it, I'm game.
Grill it like a Jeep.
Well, now, Jesse, over on your stream we're going to go to in just a moment, what are we going to be covering? Because the Last Jedi discussion is not over.
It is not over. Some of you may have noticed I was pretty quiet through a lot of that, but I do have some very strong feelings on The Last Jedi. So if you want to know how I still feel about the movie after 3 years of letting it sit and simmer, you can come over to find out about that. Also, find out about my thoughts on how that's, and more of Jeff's thoughts about how it's continued to affect the landscape of pop culture moving forwards, as well as lighting of the Hanukkah candles and a very special Hanukkah surprise for everybody.
Now, before we go, folks, I'm going to drop a link in the chat for that. I'm going to share this while we read our last couple super chats. Cecil, what do you think of my Avengers 4 homage for you right here?
It's wonderful. That's a great drawing, by the way.
Thank you.
I saw the original layout for the painting Anna's working on. Good stuff.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
That's Cecil. That's Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
Wait, is Cecil Dom DeLuise?
Oh, the ghost of Dom DeLuise.
It's not like he faked that, man.
Maybe Cecil is Baby Yoda.
Yeah, maybe. Cecil originally, by the way, I did talk to Kyle Ritter, the guy who colors the Cyberfrog stuff. So he's going to be coloring this, which is exciting. But Cecil, originally I had you drawn as a dancing girl coming out of the pie. But it was a little too much. So I thought, how else can we put you in this? So to me, this is the perfect representation of what you are to the High Council.
What if you made my tits a little smaller?
I didn't want to sacrifice that. The artistic integrity just was too much. I can't.
You're too much of a realist. Yeah.
I never shrink boobs. I never shrink tits in my drawings. I'll make them 10 times
practice.
Fair enough.
So, folks, we are a pro titty household. While folks, you follow those links in the chat, let's read our last couple super chats. First off, Swinging Con, thank you very much. He says, home is the best place to watch a Wonder. Oh, we already read that one, so we'll leave that for that. But our friend Samurai says, Cecil, watch the anime Berserk, 1997, 2014 through 2017. And Cecil, I will say, as somebody who's watched it, it's weird, trippy, gross, and gory. So if you're looking for something fucked up when you're drunk, highly recommend it.
Berserk.
And
Lupin.
Yes, Lupin the Third. That's my personal favorite.
Okay.
So, folks, we have reached the end of an amazing High Council. It started out with Cameron Pasha and ended with Cecil, and it really isn't going to end because we're going over to Mindless Entertainment. So I've been dropping that link, and it's going to go live in just a moment. So before we head out, Cecil, anything you'd like to tell the audience?
Yeah, you could check out my channel, Cecil Says. And it's a rare day. I put out a video today, so if you want to watch that, it's about 8 minutes. I did about 8 minutes of work, one take, and it
was a lot. I really appreciate the hard work.
Yeah, my back hurts actually from doing it. I'm going to rest a couple more months.
I mean, you're carrying all of YouTube right now, so I get it.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to check that out, please feel free, and that's about it.
Now, Mecha Random 42, you hit a new milestone, correct? And you have videos that you would like to tell the audience about?
Videos, many videos. Every single day we do videos where I sometimes I rant, and then sometimes they're funny, and sometimes they're funny rants. And yeah, we finally got to 60. So thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. Awesome. And I did just kind of a sneaky soup stream over the weekend because I made soup in my blender because it has the hot function. So I didn't want to like jinx it by doing a full-on big huge celebration. So, but thank you guys so much.
Tom, is there anything you'd like to tell the audience?
I got two things I want to promote now. One of is I'm going to be on Tom's show next Wednesday.
Yeah, the 23rd, I believe.
On the 23rd, and also check out Ethan's Rainbow Brute on Instagram.
Oh yeah, let's share the link for that too. Cecil, do you got the link?
I didn't know how to do work. Fine, I'll put it in there.
I've been trying to get Ethan on that morning show.
He's tough.
I know he's tough. Yeah. No, all I got to say is I want to be like Cecil when I grow up.
Then don't grow up.
Yeah, don't.
I know.
So, folks, I think we're going to go. I think it's the perfect time to jump over to Mindless Entertainment. We can continue the Last Jedi talk over there. Link is in the chat, as you can follow that right now. But I will be back on Thursday with another video. Be sure to follow our videos Monday, Thursday, Saturday. That seems to be the best schedule for right now. Tuesday, Thursday, live shows. Friday, Halo Friday over on Mindless BS Gaming. Make sure you're following WCBS Gaming on Twitch, as well as Mindless BS Gaming. We have Cyberpunk 2077 and the new Xbox Series X. So most of the glitches will be on the PS4 version. Sorry, but hopefully we'll have a nice, stable gameplay.
We get a dick out at least.
Yeah, hopefully we get our dicks out for the game. So dicks out for Cyberpunk, folks. WCBS Gaming on Twitch, Mindless BS Gaming on Twitch. You'll find us all there. So thank you for watching, folks. We're going to go. We'll be back next time with more. But no matter what you do, no matter where you go, always be excellent to each other.